Okay, so we are live. I think it's 1:11. It's 1:11 in the morning. It's 9/14, 2025. It's good to see Mustang in here. Hi, Mustang. How's it going? Hope you're well. Paula's in here. Hi, Paula. How are you? Good to see you. Oh, don't worry about it. If you're talking to me, don't worry about it. That's fine. I've been a little busy today, so I wasn't able to. If you emailed me or Facebooked me, I'm sorry I didn't get to you, but been a little bit busy today. Sorry about that. Okay, so let's see here. What are we doing? Good to see everybody. Hope everybody's well. It's a little chilly outside tonight, so I'm inside. Hopefully, we get some warmth here pretty soon before fall really steps in. It's Tracy. Tracy's here. Good to see Tracy. All right, so we're going to get into a little bit different this week here. I do want to go over the Brook unaliving update here. Dandy Linus is here. Good to see Dandy. It's Lisa Joe. Hey, Lisa Joe. Good to see you. And I do want to get into a couple other things. But for right now, Mr. Owl, that's so funny. It's good to see. It's always good to see Dandy here. It's good to see Lisa Joe here. Like I said, I hope everybody's. I'm going soon, pretty quickly, but wanted. Oh, it's always good to see you, Lisa Joe. I'm hopefully going to get back into the Barbara Cotton thing again soon. There's just so many other things going on. It's crazy. It's Shibby's in here. Hey, Shibby, good to see you. Mino Dino's in here. It's good to see everybody in the chat. Miranda's here. Good to see Miranda. So let me play my intro, and then we'll get into what we're going to do tonight. New bonus episode just came out, actually. On where? One of these days, I'd like to have you up here so we can actually go over that case, because I know you've done quite a bit on that. Probably not. I'm trying to, okay, let's put this up here. I'm trying to stay out of, I try to keep, this is like a true crime thing here. And honestly, it's the only reason why I'm here. I try to stay out of the politics as much as possible. I try to stay out of, hey, Heather's here. Heather Brown, good to see you. Try to stay out of the, all of that stuff. So probably not going to be covering that. You had brain surgery, just got discharged yesterday. I'm in severe pain. Well, that sucks. That's terrible. Well, I'm glad you. Charlie's here. Chuck's here. Sorry to hear that. Sorry to hear that you're in pain. Hope you're well. Yeah, I'm going to try to stay out of the political thing. Try to stay out of a lot of the. I just don't. I don't think it's necessary here. But we'll go over the true crime cases of the week. Let me play my intro, and I'll be right back. Whoops. Dakota Spotlight Podcast. Okay, I'll have to check that out. Did it just come out? Or all right, let me play my intro, and I'll be right back. Hold on a second. All right. Charles has you blocked. All right, let's go do this. Be right back. It's actually Charles is sorry about that. Charles is embraced the darkness, I think. But I see Gretchen in here. It's good to see Gretchen. It's always good to see Heather. I hope Heather's well. I hope you're doing well, Heather. I just feel bad for Miranda. That's terrible. Elosa's in here. Um, I still don't know who that is. Actually, I think I do know who that is. Paula's in here. Charles is in here. Charles has embraced the darkness, I think. Shibby's in here. Tell embrace the darkness to unblock me, please. That's too funny. I don't know. All right, let me get rid of my face here. I'll have to check that out. Are you in? Maybe you're in Top Chat instead of. I have a good suspect or two on the Elosa thing. Okay, so tell Embrace the Darkness to block me, please. It's funny. It's always good to see everybody in here. Hope everybody's having a good week. Been a pretty crazy week here. So, anyways, let's get right to it. I've been watching the game here. I just watched Notre Dame lose. So, by the way, I am Tracy. Yes, you're awesome, Tracy. Okay, I hope Heather's doing well. Let me know how you're doing, Heather. We'll get right to it here. Hold on a second. Let me. Stanford just went up another field goal. Okay. Anyways, all right. So we'll do this first because this came up while I look for some other shit here. Hold on a second here. Sometimes good things happen, right? Rudy, doing okay, Dave. Thank you. Okay, good. I hate when people block me and the chat doesn't line up. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have any control over that. All right, so let's get to this here. So we'll start here. Share screen. We'll start with Brian Walsh here. So apparently, this came out a couple of days ago, I think. Massachusetts, remember Brian Walsh? He is being accused of unaliving his wife, Anna Walsh, here in Massachusetts. Colchester, I think, or Gloucester. So, Massachusetts man of unaliving and dismembering his wife has been wounded in jail after being poked. So, this is very short, but here we go. I don't know if you guys know about this guy or not, but here we go.
The Massachusetts man accused of killing and dismembering his wife is wounded after being stabbed in prison. A lawyer for Brian Walsh says he was attacked last night. The 48-year-old is charged with murder and his wife's disappearance. Anna Walsh's body has not.
Yeah, we're all breathing. That's probably a good thing. Well, I have to worry about you. You just had surgery. Yeah, right. If you're blocked, you probably won't see Charles. It's good to see Charles here, though.
Not been found, but prosecutors say the evidence against her husband includes computer searches and blood in the family's home. That attorney says Walsh was taken to the hospital after yesterday's attack, but has been discharged.
So they're really going after him. Okay, so that's what happens in jail. All right, so let's get out of here. While we're here, I might as well do this here. Did we do this last week? I don't think so. Okay, so we'll do this quick too. Hold on one second here. Brian Walsh deserves an eye for an eye. Exactly. We can definitely agree on that. It's going to be interesting, that whole trial, though, if he ever goes to trial. All right, so this is another OnlyFans model. I think we've done a little bit on this a while back here. We'll go do this a little bit here because I do want to get into the Bear Brook stuff, but since I'm over here already. So So a 56-year-old man, Michael Dale, was unalive during a what they call a BDSM session. Remember we did this a while ago. So model Michaela Rylard's dam thousands of dollars to fulfill his unusual requests involving duct tape, plastic wrap, and Gorilla Glue. So while the defense claims it was consensual arrangement that turned tragic and that Michaela even tried to revive him, prosecutors argue she continued recording explicit video. So here we go. We did this. This might be a little triggering. Am I sharing this? Yes. Okay. So here we go.
On his feet
This was done 2 days ago.
with Gorilla Glue. He was asking her to buy dildos and glue them in his mouth. And he also asked her to pour pools of Gorilla Glue into his eyes to glue them shut.
I'm all right. I'm in a lot of pain. Taking oxycodone and Tylenol. Isn't oxycodone Tylenol? I was there for 7 days. Just got discharged. I'm just trying to get through each day. You poor freaking thing. That's terrible. Yeah, this case is really weird. Remember we went over this, I think it was last year. This guy, this is sick. This is awful. But here we go.
So that she was the last girl that he would ever see.
Then he died after the fatal fetish encounter.
Essentially, there was a lack of oxygen to the brain because of the plastic wrapping.
I thought oxycodone was Tylenol. Oh well. I did. You learn something new every day, I guess.
Around the head, leading to fatal injury.
Now the OnlyFans model is charged with his murder. Was it a horrible accident or a cold, calculated killing?
I could just hear him.
Quick shout out to Shibby. Shibby's awesome. I kid around with Shibby a lot, being from Canada and stuff like that. But Shibby's a great guy. Shout out to Shibby. I know that Peggy O had a live, I think, before me. Did she have a live before me? Somebody had a live before me. But she's awesome too. By the way, don't forget, if you guys have channels here, don't forget to throw them in the chat. We can spread the good word. All right, there we go. Good to see Dandy in here, though. I think I said that already. It's always good to see Dandy in here.
Say, can we stop? I'll pay you a certain amount more money to stop. And that's when I realized that it wasn't a friend. It was a prostitute.
There's a lot of people here in this house that think I need brain surgery because I'm fucking stupid. Yeah, Shibby's awesome. Shibby's a good guy.
Thanks for joining us on Law and Crime. I'm Elizabeth Milner. We brought you this story just a few months back. A mom of three who doubles as a spicy content creator or OnlyFans model is accused of placing a plastic bag over her client's head in what was supposed to be a kinky fetish encounter. But police say even when he wasn't moving, the model kept on recording.
Can you describe for us what we see here? Same thing. Michaela's sitting there topless, masturbating with a vibrator, lip syncing to the music. The pans down to Mr. Dale laying at her feet, motionless, still wrapped up the same exact way. Looked like she might have been resting her foot on him.
You mentioned in the previous clip how there was one moment where Mr. Dale's body kind of moves or shifts. Any movement with Mr. Dale in this clip?
No.
In April of 2023, more than 2 years ago, 56-year-old Michael Dale was rushed to the hospital. He was found in a really unusual and kind of scary state. Investigators say he had duct tape over his mouth, a plastic bag over his head. His head was also wrapped in saran wrap and covered in duct tape. An unusual scene, right? So it might have come as a surprise to investigators that he reportedly made the request and paid a 29-year-old OnlyFans model $11,000.
I have no idea why she's being charged. Thank you, Paula. Acetaminophen is Tylenol. That's correct. Thank you, Tracy. Canada would never be that stupid. You miss your dog? Oh, that's awful. I feel so bad for Miranda. We need to get Miranda's dog back to her. Where's Diana? She's probably sleeping. I know that I think they had you guys had a live this morning, right? We have 10 provinces and 3 territories. If you're going to be jerks, at least be accurate. What's tragic? What happened? My dog was killed earlier this evening. Oh my God, what happened? Oh, that's terrible. Sorry to hear about that. You can have one of my dogs. Wind wasn't hit and dragged. Oh, that's terrible. Oh, that's awful. That's terrible. Sorry to hear that. Oh,
$1,000 to do that to him. Initially, it was reported that Michael Dale spotted Michaela Rylarsdom on a website for hiring spicy dancers and escorts. And it was reportedly Michaela's first time ever engaging in this type of fetish behavior with a client. So police say Michael and Michaela met up on April 17th. But even before that, they were texting one another for weeks. And nothing wrong with engaging in what you want to engage in with 2 consenting adults, right? But then a 911 call came in on the evening of April 17th. When officers responded to Michael's home, they say he was lying on his back and Michaela was giving him CPR.
He didn't have a shirt on. His arms were above his head down.
was it a hit and run? If that's a hit and run, I think that's illegal in Florida. Not like you're going to probably find the guy or person, but that sucks, Charles. That's awful. Dino guy from Wisconsin, Canada would be the 60th state with 3 territories, not 51. Yeah, I don't think we want Canada.
This. It appeared to be some sort of tape and rope around his wrists. He was wearing red pants and had both of his legs bound together by a clear plastic wrap. And he was also wearing some black boots.
Could you walk us through sort of your mindset as you're rendering CPR on the male laying down?
Obviously, I'm trying to give effective CPR, but my thought process is wanting to get that person out of the room. She seemed to kind of.
Was the dog on a leash? No. Is there no leash law in Florida? She left my mom's gate open, and I knew eventually what happened. Oh. That's terrible. It's awful. Oh.
Frantic.
You're talking about the defendant.
Yes, sir.
And why is it important in your mind to get her out of the room?
For me, it's more of just an officer safety standpoint. I'm not sure what the true nature of what I'm walking into is, so I prefer for me to just be there alone.
So towards the end of the video, we see other personnel arrive. Were those paramedics?
Yes, sir.
Did they take over?
The pup I got to comfort my oldest son several years ago was hit and run. Oh, that's terrible. I had a dog that got hit too, years ago. Dogs are really stupid. They just chase cars for some reason. I don't know. My daughter would probably know why they do that, but they think they're invincible.
With the rendering of CPR.
They did.
After that, did you stick around on scene?
Yes, sir.
And were you tasked with doing anything else on scene?
Yeah.
So yeah, we got let's see here. I was involved in hit and run today. And I don't even want to. That's too funny. Oh, by the way, remember that guy that tried to fake his own unaliving, and I think was that Ohio? He faked his unaliving that he had drowned in a lake, and they found him in some Slavic country over there. He ran away from his family. I'll have to play that. I forgot about that. I think he got like 3 years. Was it 3 years or 3 months or something like that? But he got, I forget his name. He faked his own death. He drowned, and they were looking for him for that. That might have been Minnesota. I forget where it was, but they got him for like really, really stupid stuff. I forget his name.
Yes, ultimately, what I did was remain in the room and assist with evidence collection.
Can you tell us about what sort of evidence you collected there from the bedroom?
Sure. We had like some, I believe there were like bundles of what appeared to be used tape.
Dino's awesome too. I just wish Dieter's here. Oh my God, Dieter's here. Hey, Dieter, how are you? Good to see you. It's always good to see Dieter here. That's awesome. Let me know if Dieter wants a wrench. It's good to see Dieter here for sure.
Yellow rope. There was about 7 boxes of clear plastic wrap, rolls of clear plastic wrap. I collected 3 bottles of Gorilla Glue. I believe we also impounded the black.
This whole thing is just warped. Gorilla Glue. It's just I can't believe it.
Boots and a clear, like, medium-sized bag with red lipstick on it.
You mentioned black boots.
Yes, sir.
What black boots?
My partner who assisted at the hospital collected the black.
All right, give me a minute. I have Dieter a wrench. Okay.
Boots that were on Mr. Dale's feet.
Can you describe the boots that were on Mr. Dale's feet?
Yeah, they were like these thick leather, kind of shiny black boots.
Do you remember seeing those boots on him when you walked into the room that night?
Yes, sir.
Gorilla Glue, plastic wrap, duct tape really does sound like a horror scene. But according to Michaela's attorneys, they argue she tried to help the victim.
She was wearing lingerie, correct?
Yes, sir.
So you didn't see any weapon on her, correct?
No, sir.
It was more just kind of to control the situation. It's easier if she's not there. You don't have to deal with her. You don't have to have your detention divided.
Can you imagine being the arresting officer that comes and sees this shit? Right, so I think I gave Dieter a wrench. Yeah, how is Dieter feeling? So the reason why I give wrenches is that way if you know people who have chats or channels, you can throw them in the chat.
Correct?
That's correct, sir.
And so you asked her to step outside.
I did.
She stepped outside.
She ultimately, yes, sir.
And she stayed outside until other units arrived, correct?
That's correct, sir.
She didn't flee.
Guy right here has had a few too many bagels.
No, sir.
She didn't try and leave, correct?
No, sir.
And it's your understanding that she did speak with other officers about what happened, correct?
Yes, sir.
So like I mentioned, this encounter happened back in April of 2023. However, Michaela wasn't arrested and charged until this year in 2025. The charge came after the medical examiner ruled Michael's death as a homicide.
It's fair to say that if Mr. Dale had not consumed any alcohol from the time that he went in, that he became.
I don't understand why she's on trial here. I just don't. Captain tearing the house up.
Unresponsive to the time that he went to the hospital, that his alcohol level may have.
Jocelyn's here. Where's Jocelyn? There she is. Hey, Jocelyn, how are you? Good to see you. 325 months. That's too funny. Okay, so good to see Jocelyn here. Yes, we have a lot of mods, a lot of channels. It's against the law, Dave, for all right, here we go.
Been higher at the time that the incident happened.
Sure,
It might have been higher than 0.33.
absolutely.
And typically for most people, 0.40 is considered to be a near fatal or fatal level of alcohol, correct?
Yes, that's a correct guideline.
Now, alcohol is a depressant, correct?
Yes,
And that's what suppresses the fact that you're breathing, correct? Is the depressant accident.
yes,
He also had trazodone in his system, correct?
yes,
He had, was it 0.13 nanograms of trazodone?
I think it was 0.17 milligrams per liter.
0.17.
Blue crew.
That's a therapeutic level, correct?
I think it's actually subtherapeutic, but yeah, within that range.
But it's a depressant as well, correct?
Yes. Mhm.
And that can have a reaction with alcohol, enhancing alcohol's effects, correct?
Yes.
So the two together could cause a person's respiratory to be suppressed, correct?
It could have a synergistic effect, yes.
Now, I just got to say here that you can really see the arguments for both sides. The prosecution claims that this was a murder. However, the defense argues this was a terrible accident. Even though this isn't a trial, a jury will eventually have a lot to consider, like the text messages between Michaela and the victim.
What was the nature of the messages back and forth?
The nature of it was Mr. Dale asking Ms. Ryler's dam to do certain things for him. He was asking her to buy boots and glue them on his feet with Gorilla Glue. He was asking her to buy.
Yeah, but I think she tried reviving the guy. So she did everything she could. Trazodone too. Yep.
Dildos and glue them in his mouth. And he also asked her to pour pools of Gorilla Glue into his eyes to glue them shut so that she was the last girl that he would ever see.
And based on these text messages, were you able to tell whether Mr. Dale was offering money in exchange for these acts?
Yes, I believe he was going to offer some money. I don't remember how much at this time.
We see on the top left-hand corner, Michael Dale, and then next to that, it says the Queen. Based on your investigation, who is the Queen?
Michaela Ryler's dam.
Okay. And then to the right of the Queen, we see a timestamp. Is that fair?
Correct.
And then to the right of that, does it tell us whether it's an incoming or outgoing text?
Yes.
All right. So this first text, is this an incoming text?
Yes.
Can you go ahead and read the body of the text for us?
The body says, so what color boots are you going to get? Black, red, pink for me. How about the bright pink?
And is this a text from Michael Dale to the defendant, Ms. Fry-Larsdam?
Yes.
All right. There's mention of boots. How do the boots fit in to this? Good to go back here.
This is funny shit right here. This is a great platform to discover your YouTube privileges.
Yeah. Okay. Unless, I mean, if you need to.
Like I said, if you have channels, if you know people who have channels, I know there's a lot of good creators and content creators in here. Feel free to throw them in the chat. I know Charles got a channel. I think Dieter's got a channel too. Paula's in here. Paula's got a channel. I think Jocelyn had Butterfly Kisses is Jocelyn's channel. Let's see who else in here. There's a lot of people in here. Got channels, so if you feel free to throw them in the chat, I don't mind. Even Rich Nate, if you want to throw Delphi After Dark in here, you can. All right, here we go.
Point things out great. Otherwise, I don't think you need to be up here.
Thank you. So there's a mention of boots in this very first text. Can you tell us, based on your investigation of the case, what's the significance, if any, of the boots?
So Mr. Dale was asking Ms. Ryler's dam to buy a pair of boots and glue them onto his feet. And when Mr. Dale was found, he did have a pair of boots glued onto his feet. They had to be removed in the emergency room.
Were those the same boots that Officer Edwards was describing?
Those are the same boots that he saw on him. And I believe there was a second pair that were in the room on the floor.
So one pair glued onto Mr. Dale's feet, second pair of unused boots on the floor. Is that fair?
I believe so.
Okay. So the very next text message in the middle, what are we looking at here?
It's a photo of some dildos.
And
From
again, is this an outgoing text from Michael Dale to the defendant, Mr. Larsdale?
This is an incoming text from Michael Dale. This is from.
It's Farq. Hey, Farq, good to see you. Arctic True Fox is awesome. Arctic Fox True Crime is great. Thank you, Dandy, for doing that. It's good to see Farq in here, though. I haven't seen you for a while. Hope you're well.
Ms. Rylersdam's phone. So it's.
Oh, and Farmer's good too. Farmer's awesome. He had a live earlier today. Farmer's great. There you go.
Incoming text from Michael Dale to Ms. Rylersdam.
Thank you. You said it's a picture of dildos?
Yeah, it's a advertisement on Etsy for dildo to buy dildos for $36.
Can you read the next text message for us at the very bottom of page 1?
It's also incoming from Mr. Dale, and it says, "I was thinking of something like this, a 6 inches long, that you could put down my throat before you glued my mouth shut."
Before we flip to page 2, can you tell us what is the timestamp or time frame of these text messages?
The picture came in at 7:05 p.m. on 3/26.
You can't make this stuff up. We'll go a little bit more on this here, and then I want to get onto something else here.
23, and the text message came in at 7:06 p.m. So one right after the other.
So fair to say a couple weeks before the incident?
Correct.
Yeah, Mr. Steve is awesome. Thank you for doing that, Dandy. Mr. Steve is awesome for sure. Yes, I do. I can't believe they have to talk, just really weird. This whole case is weird, but this came up on the because we did a little on this when this first came out, and I think it was last year.
Let's flip to page 2.
We're following 2 OnlyFans cases. We got this one here and the crazy lady we covered last week.
2 on page 3. For the record, timestamp of these first couple messages are March 27th of 2023. Is that accurate, sir?
Yes.
All right. Walk us.
Your emails? I don't think so. I don't think I've gotten to my emails yet, if that's what you're talking about. Paula's got a great channel too.
Through the first 3 texts that we see on the second page. Can you go ahead and read those? So describe who's sending them and who's receiving them.
Sure. These all 3 are incoming from Michael Dale to Michaela Rylersdam. The first is on 3/27/23. It's at 9:32 a.m. The body of the text reads, "Yes, I have been seriously thinking about you gluing my eyes shut at the end."
Okay. How about the next text?
The next text is the same day at 11:50.
Is that a thing? Is it like gluing your eyes shut? Is that a thing? That's weird. That's oops, it was Dino, my bad. Dino said the expanding foam story. You guys are terrible. Oh, my comment. Can you put it in the chat again? I don't think I might have seen it.
7 a.m., which says, "Can we glue my eyes
Sorry, I don't think I saw it.
shut, please? So sexy,
I think I had my eyes glued shut at the moment.
you being the last beautiful angel I ever see."
Oh my
How about
God.
the next text?
The next text is at 12 p.m., so 3 minutes later, and it states, "So can we please glue my eyes shut at the end? Seriously."
And that's also from
People are fucked up.
Mr. Dale to the defendant.
Correct.
All right. So we see 5 total texts on this page. We've gone through 3 of them. Can you go ahead and read for us the next or fourth text message.
The next text message is an outgoing message from Michaela to Michael Dale.
Leave it to Shibby, man. Hey, Barbara, good to see you. Barbara Hall's here. Hi, Barbara. Good to see Barbara here. Yeah, this is messed up.
At 12:01 p.m., which says yes.
All right, and how about the fifth and final text?
That's from Michael Dale to Michaela Rylersdam at 12:03 p.m., which says, I seriously want a pool of glue over each eye. Okay.
If you could turn to the third page of this exhibit, page 3. Four text messages on this third page. For the record, the first text, is this incoming from Michael Dale to the defendant?
Yes.
And what's the timestamp on this one?
12:05 p.m., 3/27, the same day.
And go ahead and read that for us.
I wanted
The judge. He's rethinking his life right now, the judge. He's like, how did I get here? How did this happen to me?
to make sure that I can never, in capitals, I can never ever see another girl. Okay.
How about the second text message?
The second one is from Michaela Rylersdam to Michael Dale, outgoing at 12:09 p.m., and it says never.
And the third?
The third is
Gives a whole new meaning to sniffing glue, I think. It's oh my God. Okay, I've had enough of this. All right, so let's it's crazy. These people are nuts. All right, so let's stop sharing that. Hold on a second here. Maybe I can get to something here. Let's do this here. Okay, let's get back into let's do the while I get ready for the Bear Brook murder thing. Let's get to the judge here. Hold on a second. Yeah, what I could do for sure. I just can't believe this. You can't make this stuff up. You just can't. This is all right. So this is more about the judge. This is Judge Steins here. Mickey Steins, I mean, sorry. This is I think we've seen this, but now they're saying this guy might not even do time here. So Mickey Steins was in active psychosis in the days after he unalived his friend and colleague, Friends Like This Who Needs Enemies, right? Judge Kevin Mullins. And this is what they're going for. They're going for the insane plea. So am I sharing this? I think we've seen some of this, but not all of it. So here we go.
It is recording.
That was then Sheriff Mickey Steins in custody after he'd shot and killed Judge Kevin Mullins in his chambers. Now we're learning new details about Steins' paranoia and possible mental health issues as his lawyer tries to get the case.
Lady Monet's here. Good to see Lady Monet. Hope you're well. Good to see you for sure. Big Fish Small Pond is here too. Where? There he is. There's I don't know why I say he. I don't know who you are. But Big Fish is here. Yes, Mustang's got a channel too. Mustang's channel is awesome. I've seen a couple of lives or a couple of Mustang's stuff. But it's good to see Lady Monet here for sure, and Big Fish. Who else jumped in here? Yeah, squirrel. Hold on here. This is nuts, like squirrel shit crazy for sure. Just when you think you've seen it all, right? I didn't know the glue eye thing was a thing. I just, it probably wouldn't be on my menu, that's for sure. All right, so here we go.
Case against him dismissed.
I know how that works, the camera stuff. Take me downstairs. Y'all can interview me. I'll tell you the whole story downstairs.
Welcome to Crime Fix. I'm Anjanette Levy. Mickey Steins faces a murder charge for the shooting of Judge Kevin Mullins in his chambers nearly a year ago in Letcher County, Kentucky. There's no denying that Mickey Steins shot his friend of many years. It's all on camera, recorded by a surveillance system in the judge's chambers that's part of the
This case here, lady. Yeah, what a sham for sure. Rumors flying out of Eastern Kentucky are just wild. Yeah, this case is getting more and more interesting. It was interesting from the beginning, but it's getting, it's crazy. This case is crazy.
courthouse. What's in dispute is Steins's level of legal culpability. He's pleaded not guilty to the murder.
Luis Cuevas is here. Good to see Luis Cuevas. Good to see you for sure. Oh, you're welcome.
Murder charge, and his lawyers have contended from the very beginning that Steins was experiencing an extreme emotional disturbance that may make him guilty of manslaughter instead of murder. But right now, Steins' lawyer is trying to get the indictment charging Steins with murder thrown out. Jeremy Bartley maintains that prosecutors with the Commonwealth of Kentucky didn't give the grand jury all of the facts about Steins' mental health when grand jurors asked about it. I spoke with Bartley back in March about why he believes that Steins shot Mullins in the first place.
Yeah, he felt that his wife and daughter had been taken. And, I think that, there's a lot out there that touches on what was actually going on behind the scenes. We look at the Ben Fields deposition, the deputy that was convicted of having coercive sex with someone who was on probation and or on an ankle monitor.
When I first saw this case, I was questioning why. Two things. Why, like, they're just in this room, everybody's all smoking cigarettes in there, right? Like, why are there so many people in the judge chambers, for one, right? There's a whole bunch of people in there. And then two, there's a video camera in there. Why is there a video camera in there? It's so weird. What the hell do I know? Mimi? Who's Mimi? Like I said, it's good to see everybody in here. Hope everybody's well. It's been a long week for me. It's been weird. And it's getting cold at night here, and I hate cold. It sucks. The days have been great, though. The 70s, 80s, it's been great. All right, back to this here.
At the time in the judge's chambers, we've got a video. I mean, if we take a step back here, we're talking about a live feed in the judge's office. That's unheard of.
I don't think I've ever heard of that before in my life. I don't think I've ever heard of a video camera. That's just weird.
I can't speak for the rest of the country, but I can speak for Kentucky. I've been in a lot of judges' chambers. I've seen a lot of cameras, but I've never seen one that was a live feed, basically a security camera. My understanding, that camera went up after this prosecution of Ben Fields in the civil suit. So we know in those chambers there was things going on that shouldn't have been going on. And we believe that there were.
Let's read this here. This reminds me of another small town. I think it's interesting. Sheriff did that to the prosecutor when he knew what was going on until it happened to his daughters and it affected his life. Yeah, I think I definitely think this guy here has I don't know. Because of the lawsuit of allegations of the SEC for favors in the chamber, so cameras were installed. Okay.
Folks that didn't want it being told in this deposition what was going on in there before they put cameras up. And I believe that there is a history that would show us that there is a reasonable belief that that he was in danger, his family was in danger, depending on what he said in this deposition. Now, again, we think that was exacerbated by his mental health, or conversely, these threats impacted his mental health. But the bottom line is that Mickey felt that there was a threat to his wife and daughter and that it was imminent.
Crawford won. All right, so let's fast forward this here.
Out of Letcher County, arguing that both sides, including the prosecution, are entitled to a fair trial. Prosecutors don't believe that can happen in Letcher County. Pretty interesting because you don't often hear of prosecutors asking for a change of venue, but I have seen it happen in a couple of other cases, although it's rare that it actually moves the trial, that a judge grants that request.
Who are they playing again? They playing the Giants? Yeah, the Cowboys. If they're playing the Giants, they'll probably beat the Giants. That's what it is, right? Like right now, it's all football. When football starts, I get very, very busy. I pretty much watched every single game today, in the college side, and then tomorrow, of course, is pro. Yeah, I think I took the Cowboys tomorrow. Not sure. The way the Cowboys are playing, though, anything's possible.
But back to the motion to dismiss. Bartley filed a brief to support his motion. It's now under seal, but some outlets got it before that happened, so we can tell you what's in it. Bartley is accusing the lead detective, Clayton Stamper, of making false statements to the grand jury. On November 21st, 2024, Bartley
Overwhelming evidence to the contrary. Detective Stamper and the Commonwealth put on testimony that the investigation showed was in his sane mind.
Wrote that Stamper testified in front of the grand jury, and despite overwhelming evidence to the contrary, Detective Stamper and the Commonwealth put on testimony that the investigation showed defendant was in his sane mind. Bartley goes on to write that Stamper knew full well that there were concerns about Stines' mental health in the days leading up to the shooting, and that Stines had been diagnosed with acute stress reaction. A grand juror had asked whether there was any record of psychosis, hallucination, depression, or mental health issues with Stines. Bartley writes, however, the Commonwealth and its witness do not disclose that the same records from the day before the shooting, his doctor diagnosed an acute stress reaction. Another juror asks, so Dr. McDougall said pretty much.
So I'm assuming this is all part of the grand jury thing. Another juror asked, so that no mental health issues, but was there any major health issues?
There's no mental health issues, but was there any major physical health issues that he was struggling with that might have affected his mental health? The witnesses answer, no, not that I'm aware of. Bartley writes that Stamper also didn't tell the grand jurors about mental health symptoms Stines was exhibiting following his arrest. The brief states, the Commonwealth's witness failed to note the mental health evaluations that were initiated by the government vis-a-vis the jail. These examinations were conducted at Kentucky River Community Care on September 20th, 2024, September 23rd, 2024, and September 24th, 2024. Those evaluations included observations of active psychosis. He had been given risperidol and Seroquel by the jail prior to the exam.
Yeah, I do like her too, Anjanette's okay. She has her own podcast too that I listen to sometimes. So doesn't Vinny. Mickey Stein was more respected that the judge. Comments on Facebook showed it was common knowledge Mullins was having sex with defendants. Yeah, I don't think the judge was the greatest person in the world.
As noted in the medical record. Now, in fairness, the Commonwealth will say that these are trial issues. Here's one of the special prosecutors at a hearing last month.
Your Honor, I think defense counsel is conflating the role of a grand jury proceeding with the role of a criminal trial. It is very clear under the law that they are distinctly different proceedings. The grand jury is an investigative body. The Commonwealth has no obligation, as reflected in an abundance of case law, to come in, to present exculpatory evidence, and to attempt to mount a defense for the defendant.
Now, we are now seeing more of Mickey Stines' bizarre behavior after the shooting. We already knew that he was paranoid. We've seen body camera footage of that before, but now we're seeing more of it.
Randy was talking about going somewhere else. You go out of the side. Oh, take me to the jail now, guys. To the jail? Yeah. Security. Yeah, security. I won't be on camera and stuff all the time. Yeah. Yeah, take me to the jail. Now, come on, boy.
Come here.
Listen, we're all on camera, man, all the time. I know, but I know how that works, the camera and stuff. Take me downstairs. Y'all can interview me.
I think the daughter came out. And said she had no business with the judge. Didn't the daughter come out and say that? I could be wrong. Maybe he didn't believe it till it happened to his daughter. I'm pretty sure the daughter came out and said, made a statement that she had nothing to do. Her and her mother had nothing to do with the judge. But I don't know. This guy's definitely not right in the head.
I'll tell you the whole story downstairs.
Oh, okay. Well, we're just trying to figure out what the
We can go right through that way, right down at the jail.
And that may very well be what we do. I don't know. We'll see. Okay? We're not going to do
Listen, Mickey, first we got to figure out who's working this, and that's going to be his part. Okay?
I won't be downstairs on camera now, guys. Come on.
Okay. Okay. Well, we just got to wait on the detective who's going to be working this. Okay.
Steins was afraid to go to the jail.
Now, come on, guys. No, come on now, guys.
Come on, that's making nothing.
No, now.
There's 2 body cams running, Mickey. It's all recorded and there's a digital recorder running. That will be, look, it'll show you that it's running. Look.
Come on now, guys.
No, look,
Come
Mickey,
on now.
we've known each other a long time. Look, it is recording. That one's recording. Clayton has a backup recorder running.
Oh, now, come on, guys.
What do you think? Slow down.
We can't talk in the hallway of the courthouse. Mickey.
Yeah, there's
You know
people
that.
here.
We don't want to.
I mean, there's people in that room, there's people in that
The thing
room.
I'm saying is, would they treat any other suspect like this here? Are they giving special treatment to this guy just because he's a sheriff, or?
We can't do that.
So what's the problem?
I'll get another one. I'll put one on me. You want that? Let me, okay? But I can't be in the room.
Come on.
Mickey.
Come on.
Is there somebody that you trust other than us that you would prefer to be with us?
Mickey, I think we've known each other our whole lives. I'm not going to anything happen to you. I have no reason.
Come on now, guys.
Mickey.
In my opinion, if this was any other suspect here, he would have been forcefully brought down to the jail. I mean,
You have to go. You have to be moved. You have to be moved at some point. Mickey. We got 2 body cams running. We're not saying anything.
Would you have a trial?
Would you talk to us in the jail down there? Do you feel safe down there because there's cameras everywhere?
Are you going to move me after the interview?
Bosses of hazard.
I mean, I'm not trying to dictate how it goes, guys. I know how this works. I'm not going to feel safe in a room here, but
We're not going to hurt you, Mickey.
Listen,
Why would
just like Anthony, I've known you for 20 years, but we're not going to hurt you. That's why we have 2 body cams and a digital recorder running, Bub. I promise you.
I ain't got nothing.
I know that, but that ain't what we're worried about, Bub. We just can't talk in the hallway of the courthouse. Plus, there's people looking. We need to go somewhere out of here. And
Pull
you're
my
not.
pockets inside out.
Is that it? Ain't that?
No, pull my pockets inside out. Now, guys, y'all don't do me this way.
Now, of course, in the background of all of this was a civil suit involving a deputy under Steins having sex with an inmate in Judge Mullins' chambers, and rumors that Judge Mullins was running a scheme to get favors from women who were incarcerated in exchange for sex. I want to bring in Dave Ehrenberg. He is the former state attorney in Palm Beach County, also currently a defense attorney. Dave, this case is a crazy case because we literally have a shooting.
you think? You think this is a crazy case? I mean, it's beyond crazy.
On camera. We have a homicide taking place on camera, a sheriff killing a judge who was his friend. In the background, we have all of this chatter about a sex for favors sex ring allegedly run by the judge. Now we have these new documents coming out, though, saying It's kind of letting some credence to the defense that Mickey Steins may have been under some duress, some emotional disturbance. So what do you think as you look through these documents that they're saying that the lead detective didn't tell the grand jury the whole truth about, this diagnosis that Mickey Steins had?
Yes, this is their way, meaning the defense's way of trying to get the charges dropped by saying that the key witness before the grand jury, lied to the grand jury. It's not an unusual argument. This actually happens more than you'd like to believe, because the defense is always trying to get that edge, and trying to get the charges dismissed, because a grand jury's burden is just to find that there's probable cause. It's a low burden, and then you get an indictment. So here's their way of trying to get the charges dismissed before it even gets to trial. And I don't think it's going to succeed. You have to show that there is
I think that if this guy sees any time at all, it's going to be very small. Like I think it's very possible that the charges get dropped down to some sort of manslaughter charge, or maybe a third degree or something like that. I think if he does 10 years, I'll be shocked. Like I said, I think this guy did a lot of people favors here by doing this, but I'm sure this happens a lot more than people think it does. This is people get away with shit. It's just the way it is until something like this happens, and then it becomes, people scramble to try to cover their own asses here. So we'll see what happens.
Willful, a lie here, something intentional, a deception before the grand jury. And sometimes investigators just have a different opinion about someone's mental health. The investigator is not an expert in mental health. And so to say that he's just lying about.
I agree with Mino Dino. I think the judge, the picture of the judge looks just really, he looks like a dork. I worked in a courthouse. Yeah, small town courts are weird and wild. Friend doesn't end you. That's no friend. That's right. The wind's picked up there. Because of the FART. Gotcha. Heather needs to stop FARTing.
Got it. That's maybe a bit of a reach. Now, as far as the fact that this defendant may have some real issues, that will play in the trial, but I don't think it's going to get the grand jury indictment dismissed.
No, I don't think it's going to get the grand jury indictment dismissed, but I think that the Bartleys, the defense team, would be remiss if they didn't at least try based on this information.
No, I agree. And it is telling that you have this battle of paperwork in advance. It shows you that this case has reached the public's consciousness, where you have the prosecution seeking a change in venue, and you have the defense saying that it's our client who has a severe mental disturbance caused essentially by what he knew about this judge. And so this is.
Yeah, I think what's going to happen in this case here is there's going to be some sort of a plea agreement. He probably, he'll probably end up pleading, guilty with stipulations, but like some sort of a handshake agreement or something like that. I could be wrong.
A combustible situation. I do think that there is a need to get at least a jury from a different jurisdiction, perhaps the case moved. I do not see this case getting dismissed before trial. And so this is going to be must-see TV if and when it does go to a trial.
Yeah, definitely.
One, they're not going to want to have a huge trial on this here. These smaller town, the money is the issue, right? I mean, they want a lengthy trial here with all this money being spent. So that my opinion, they'll probably just, I don't know, kind of like a handshake deal, guilty 5-10 years, maybe with, I don't know, something like that, with a manslaughter charge, and then that's it.
How unusual is it, in your experience, for the Commonwealth, the state side, to ask for a change of venue?
It is unusual, but it's not unheard of, because the state has a right to a fair trial too. I know the Sixth Amendment applies to defendants. And in fact, the Constitution of the United States says nothing about victims. It says a lot about defendants.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like he didn't not do it. I mean, the question here is, was he insane at the time he did it? Was he experiencing some sort of emotional distress or whatever? So I think they'll probably try to straighten this out before this gets to trial. It's just because it's a money thing. These cases cost a lot of money for the state. The state has to put a lot of money into these things, and the longer they drag on, expert witnesses cost a lot of money. It's just and some of these smaller towns, jurisdictions, they just don't have. They'd rather put that money somewhere else.
And suspects. But the state does have also right to have a fair trial, and that means that if there's a jury out there that cannot be fair, that is swayed by emotion, by sympathy, rather than following the evidence and the facts and the law, then you've got to find another jury. You can bring in another jury from a different part of the state, or you can move the case entirely. It's not unheard of, but it is rare that it is the state seeking it, which tells you about all the information that's been out there and all the rumors and everything that people have been talking about the victim being involved in this pay for play sex ring. That's the kind of thing that could lead to what's called jury nullification, which is a prosecutor's worst nightmare, which means that the jury sees the evidence, sees the law, and disregards it because they just don't like the victim.
Right. And I think that could be a concern here. I mean, obviously the Bartleys want to keep this trial in Letcher County because of all of the, goodwill, I guess, that Sheriff Mickey Steins, he's not the sheriff anymore, but he has a lot of support in Letcher County. So they want a Letcher County and it's a small town. They don't want a Letcher County jury and it's a small town. However, the Commonwealth's like, there's just been too much media attention on this. We need to move this. But the defense is saying, this is a national story. You're not going to take the media attention away, whether you move it, to one county or another.
That's something that's changed in recent years. It used to be, before the advent of streaming and social media, that if you had...
That's why, I have a problem with people who just bash social media and stuff like that. Years ago, this stuff used to just be, kind of hush-hush, brought up under the rug. And there's so much media attention on cases like this here these days, not just mainstream media, but, a lot of wackos too in the social media thing. But it does put a lot of pressure on these guys to not just hide this shit under the rug anymore, which is good.
Had a case that was a big deal in a certain jurisdiction, you can easily move it to another jurisdiction and escape all that publicity. But now we're all on the same networks. We all watch the same news from, or at least the same social media sites. And so everyone knows about everything pretty much. A case like this would be something that would be known throughout the state of Kentucky, not just that one part of Eastern Kentucky. With that said, it's still different. I mean, remember in Idaho, they moved the Koberger case because even though everyone knew about it, they still felt that having a jury in that small town of Moscow, Idaho, was prejudicial to the defense. Here, the state is saying that because of sympathy for the defendant, he was well-liked, because of dislike of the victim, you got to move it to a different area. Even if the people in the other area know about the case, it's still not the same. They don't know the parties personally. So I think the state has a legitimate argument to at least...
I'm just saying it wasn't just the judge that knew about this stuff, right? These things take a lot of people. Right? If he was having all these illicit things in his office and stuff like that, there's a lot of people that knew. This case here reminds me a little bit of the Alex Murdaugh cases. There's women making video accusing Mullins officials and businessmen of sex. Yeah, I'm sure this thing is, and I can guarantee you right now, there's another Alex Murdaugh running around in the Carolinas too. I mean, it's these cases here,
least get a jury shipped in from a different part of the state.
They may. And it sounds like, there are some rumblings down there that this is going to move. And so if you put this case in front of another jury, the defense strategy seems here, Dave, to be all about getting a manslaughter conviction rather than a murder conviction. Because of the extreme emotional disturbance. That's the strategy. They've basically said that. But you might be more apt to get that in Letcher County than, say, another county like Bowling Green or some other, some other area where there isn't as much known about the background of this case and what could have been potentially going on in the background, especially with the civil lawsuit about the sex for favors and things of that nature. So you may put this case in front of a jury who's like, I don't care about all of that. You literally took out a gun and shot your friend, the judge, in cold blood, and then went after him, followed him as he tried to crouch around his desk. So that's going to show whether he had some mental health issues going or not. The prosecution, the Commonwealth, is going to say that's a cold-blooded killing.
Yeah, I actually think the defense is going to try to get an acquittal because of jury nullification. I think they're going to focus on what the victim was supposedly doing and outrage.
Hello, Only Facts True Crime. Good to see you. We are morally lacking society. Just watch news. It's just, crazy. These cases here make you wonder.
At least one of the jurors, and that's all it takes for a hung jury, and you outrage them all, and you get sympathy for the defendant, and then it's game over. It's an acquittal. So if you just base it on the video alone, there's enough evidence, I think, for a murder conviction there, or at least manslaughter.
That's not manslaughter. It's murder. Any way you look at it, he took a gun out, and he knew what he was doing. If you watch the video, the sheriff knew what he was doing. He waited for everybody else to get out of the office. He basically forced everybody out of the office. And he made sure nobody was there. He opened the door like 2 or 3 different times. He knew what he was doing, no doubt. But the sympathy thing may be, but it's not manslaughter. He definitely, he went into that office to unalive this guy, period.
But you're right. I think the baseline here is to at least get a manslaughter, which means he'll see the light of day outside of a prison again, even if he's convicted. But I think they're going to go for it all. They already are in trying to dismiss the indictment altogether. But that video is so powerful that unless you engage in jury nullification, I think that video means he's going to be convicted of at least manslaughter, if not murder.
Yeah, it's really something else. This case.
All right, so this case we're going to keep following. I know they keep coming up with new stuff in this case, but I'm pretty sure the daughter said she had nothing to do with the judge. I'll try to find that. But anyways, we're going to get to, hold on a second here. Yeah, okay. Let's go here. I want to go to this really, hold on a second here. Okay, so we finally had the, I think it was the 4th victim, the middle child, in this case, finally unveiled last week here. But I do want to play this first because this is, so when I do these things here, especially when it comes to these types of cases here, when it involves more of the SKer type thing in the true crime genre here. So I learn about these things from other things like this case here, these Bear Brook murders here. I learned about this case a long time ago because technically this has been in the news for a very, very long time, this whole set of crimes here. But I started following this case here, looking into the Connecticut River Valley killings because I wanted to tie, I've been trying to tie the Lauren Ron case in with this case here. and I've sent 2 or 3 different emails to the DOJ here in New Hampshire with the Lauren Ron case. But apparently they don't think that's connected. So I don't know what to tell you. But I'm gonna play this first here because this was done 3 years ago. But like I said, this case here has been going on forever. So this was done. This is the chameleon serial killer here. Also known as his name is Terry Rasmussen, and he's been all over the place. I'll try to pull up his bio in a second here, but we'll play this first because this ties in with it. So they finally ID'd the middle child in these barrel murders here. So let's play this here. Here we go.
Someone determined to solve a mystery. These are the stories of crimes that changed lives forever. This is Justice Rules.
In Allenstown, New Hampshire, it remains a haunting mystery. 4 victims found.
So we used to go to Bear Brook Park all the time. It's a state park. We used to go to Bear Brook all the time. It's like the place. It was the place to go before they put in the major highway that goes to the beach here. But we used to go to a lot of the lakes around here, and Bear Brook State Park was the place to go. So, but they've been finding bodies out here for a while, and they've been linking this to what they call the Bear Brook murders. So just to give you a little bit of background on this here. That's why I'm playing this first here.
Found in barrels near Bear Brook State Park, 15 years apart. New Hampshire authorities believe they all fell victim to one man. At the time, he was known as Bob Evans, a drifter who left behind a long trail of death. Reporter Bob Ward explains the case unraveled when a body was discovered buried in cat litter.
In Allenstown, New Hampshire, it remains a haunting mystery.
Paul is amazing. Paul, you're not leaving, are you? Yeah, this is a crazy case I've been following. Like I said, I started getting into this case here when I think it was a few years ago that they finally identified one of the other ones. And like I said, I was going over the Connecticut River Valley unalivings, the 8 of those women, and that branched me off into this. So this guy's a real winner here, Terry Rasmussen. But so here we go.
Who were these 4 victims found in barrels near Bear Brook State Park 15 years apart? Hampshire authorities believe they all fell victim to this man, known at the time as Bob Evans, a drifter who left behind a long trail of death. Women who spent time with him tended to disappear.
Yeah, he all right, so while this was playing, hold on a second here. Let me I want to say it was 8 states. He was associated with 8 states. All right, so hold on one second here. He's dead now anyways, but hold on a second. Hope you're doing well, Jocelyn. Whoops. Hold on a second here. Well, I'll play this here and then I'll.
7 of them in all that we know of.
He was a smart killer. He was, he behaved like a chameleon. His story, his name, and he moved.
Bob Evans was an alias.
Okay,
along with
so let me stop this here. So here's oh, awesome. Thank you, Paula. Paula's amazing. Paula's yeah, Grizzly True Crime is awesome. Yes. All right, so here's the guy we're talking about here. This is Terry Petter Rasmussen, but he's had like 8 or 9 different aliases. So he's dead now. He died way back 2010, I think. Was an American convicted unaliver and suspected serial killer who was convicted of 1 murder and linked to at least 6 more. In 1981, Rasmussen left New Hampshire with his girlfriend Denise Baldwin, who subsequently disappeared. So what he would do is he would get involved with these women, kind of like adopt their stepchildren, and then unalive both of them. He subsequently disappeared. He is suspect of killing her. Rasmussen also abducted Baldwin's daughter and fled to California. He abused and SM'd the child before deserting her in 1986 and was subsequently imprisoned on child abandonment charges. Rasmussen died in prison after being convicted of the 2002 murder of another girlfriend, Yusun Jun, right? So that's the guy there. These are his names right here. Bob Evans, that they know of. Bob Evans, Curtis Mayo Kimball, Gordon Jensen, Lawrence William Vanner. These are all his names here. He was sentenced to 15 years to life. Let's see here. Span of crimes, 1978 to 2002 that they know of. States, New Hampshire and California, but he's been associated with Arizona, Colorado, California, Idaho, Virginia, Texas, Ohio, Oregon, and Hawaii. So the last 2 years I've been trying to, gather some information on some of these states here to see if he was, associated with any crimes out there. All right, so let's go back to the video here. This guy's a real winner. He's a piece of dog shit, literally. Just a horrible person. But he's dead, so.
Curtis Mayo Kimball, Gordon Jensen, Jerry Markerman, or William Vanner. They were all used by this man, Terry Rasmussen, a divorced father of 4 from the Southwest. Police believe Terry Rasmussen arrived in Manchester, New Hampshire as Bob Evans sometime in the late 1970s. He was on a collision course with murder.
Terry Rasmussen was becoming Bob Evans, is maybe the fair way to put it. Right, he was headed in a homicidal direction.
DNA has revealed Terry Rasmussen was the biological father of one of the children found in the barrels in Allenstown. The mother of that girl is not known. Investigators just uncovered new information that leads them to believe Rasmussen's family saw him with an unidentified woman in Payson, Arizona, around Christmas 1975. Now, authorities are considering a brand new, disturbing possibility that the woman Rasmussen was last seen with in Arizona in the mid-1970s might in fact be the mother of Rasmussen's daughter, found murdered in the woods in a barrel right here in Allenstown.
Timeline would work right for her to potentially be the mother of his child here. And the hope is that somebody would see him and recognize, yeah, I knew.
The strange thing about New England is the civilizations here go back centuries, right? Like, so what's around here now might not have been here, say, 100 years ago. I mean, there's places here that are no longer there, but at one time they were, big, huge hotels there, and people would go there. They'd come up from Massachusetts or other parts of the country and go there. Those places are no longer there. So when you're out in the woods, trail hiking or doing whatever you do in the woods, hunting or whatever, you may stumble across, old abandoned dug foundations, and there was a house there one time. You just don't know, and so it's tough to investigate places around here because you can be looking for something and 100 feet away, not even see it and not even know it's there. And that's what happened in this case here.
Him, he dated my friend, he dated my sister. If we could get an ID on that woman in Payson, I think that would be a next, good step towards making some progress.
Investigators do not believe that unidentified woman is the same one found murdered in Allenstown, but investigators suspect her fate may be the reason why Terry Rasmussen turned into Bob Evans.
It's possible he committed murder on the West Coast, wanted to get away, and come here.
The mysteries don't end there. When Bob Evans left New Hampshire, the name Bob Evans disappeared too. And so did his live-in girlfriend at the time, Denise Bowden of Manchester, New Hampshire. They lived here on Hayward Street until about Thanksgiving 1981. Recently, the FBI helped search this property, but came up empty.
Denise is never seen.
So I'd say between 1978 and 1987, there was 2 serial killers around here at the same time. And that's the bane of my existence the last 10 years, is trying to figure out what's been going on around here.
Seen or heard from again from the time that she leaves New Hampshire. So given what we know about our suspect, we obviously believe that he killed her.
Rasmussen is quite different from almost every serial killer I've studied, and I am talking about hundreds of cases.
Northeastern University criminologist Jack Levin has spent his life studying, meeting, and writing about serial killers.
What distinguishes Rasmussen from most serial killers is that he targeted people with whom he had a relationship, and he traveled. Most serial killers would never do that. That's the last thing they would do. Instead, they focus on complete strangers.
In all the known cases, Levin believes for Rasmussen, intimacy led to murder.
This guy may not have been able to control himself when he had an intimate relationship, either as a father, a guardian, or as...
Yeah, Bob Evans or Robert Evans is a pretty common name. So I'm pretty sure he didn't have a hard time looking for that name. But I think there is a Bob Evans chain of... Is that Bob Evans or... I don't know.
as a husband. And he decided, when he didn't like the way things were going, that he would get even with his victims.
But there could still be more victims, and they could be in Rasmussen's old New Hampshire neighborhood. Recently, police searched these woods looking for Denise Deneau, a mother of 2 who vanished from Manchester in June 1980. At the time of her disappearance, she lived a mile away from Rasmussen on the same street. And weeks earlier, April 1980, 14-year-old Laureen Ron vanished from her home on Manchester's...
So this is the one that I'm kind of interested in here. This is, and we've done a whole bunch of lives on this girl here, Laureen Ron, because she lived right down the street from him, and she went missing. So she went missing in 1980, I think, and you know, I've been trying to link this guy here with her because it's strange how, you know, she's never been seen before again, and they refuse to answer my questions. So it's just strange, but that's why I've been lately been trying to figure out what's been going on with this guy. All right, so let's go back to this here. Hold on a second. And I've been out to Bear Brook a few times trying to find more barrels. I was going to go out there tonight, but I had to do the live. So, so here we go with this here. I may go out there at some point this week.
Merrimack Street, also close by. Authorities are not linking Rasmussen to those disappearances, but Levin tells me the fact Rasmussen was in the neighborhood is eye-opening.
It seems to me that when you see people missing who live on the same street as the killer, and it happens more than once, you have to believe that he is the killer.
I've always tried to live by the model that there's no defense against the truth, but sometimes it's hard to find out what the truth is.
At the time of this 2002 police interview with Contra Costa County sheriffs in California, Terry Rasmussen was known as Larry Vanner. His common-law wife, Unsun June, had been missing for 4 months, but some of Rasmussen's secrets were starting to break.
All right, Larry, your prints came back. Our
You know your other name, right? Curtis or Gerald or Jerry or whatever name you're going by this week.
I always felt like that he's running from previous crimes.
Roxanne Grunheid is a retired Contra Costa County homicide detective who helped unravel his story.
His identity, or the name that he gave us and the date of birth that he had given us, it didn't really go anywhere. It was like
You lost your hearing in your left ear? That's terrible. Is that because of the surgery, you think? Poor Miranda. We need to send you a card of some sort. We love Miranda here. Miranda's awesome. I knew you were going to be having surgery, but I didn't know. You guys are all awesome. Yes, it's from the surgery. Everybody in my chat's having surgery. It's so weird. You guys need to get better. We love Heather too. Heather's amazing. I hope you're feeling good, Heather. Keep your sausage in your pocket. That's too funny. Oh.
It was like a one-sided piece of paper.
And Grunheid's hunch was right. Rasmussen was lying about the whereabouts of Eunsun Jun.
What he was trying to convey was that she had suffered some sort of a emotional, mental breakdown of some sort, and that he wasn't going to allow us to speak to her.
When police ran Rasmussen's fingerprints, police quickly learned he was wanted under another name on a parole violation, and he was arrested. Roxanne and another detective searched the home Rasmussen shared with Eunsun Jun in Richmond, California. They soon made a disturbing discovery in the garage.
He freaking buried her in cat litter. Can you imagine that?
It was just this mound of kitty litter. But through the kitty litter were electrical cords and wires, and there were power tools around and lighting hung up.
Crime Scene Services investigators dug through the kitty litter, and they found Eunsun Jun.
The thing that came out first was what appeared to be a mummified foot, and still with like a flip-flop on it.
Roxanne tells me Eunsun Jun suffered blunt force trauma, the same fate as all 4 Allenstown victims.
By the way, this guy Bob Ward here, he's my inside guy here. I try to get so much information from him, and he doesn't have a lot of information either, but I've been back and forth with this guy here for at least 3 years. I don't think he works for these guys. He works for Boston 25 now, I think.
Roxanne Grunheid will never forget this case or the chilling conversation she had with this mysterious killer.
I said, where are you? Where are you from? He leaned in closer to me, like in my personal space, in a kind of a really threatening, but just like a presence. And he just really looked at me and he goes, "That's none of your goddamn business."
Terry Rasmussen, using the name Lawrence Vanner, ultimately died in a California prison in 2010, convicted for the 2002 murder of his girlfriend, Eunsun Jun. Today, New Hampshire authorities are still trying to untangle Rasmussen's deadly secrets, still trying to put a name to these 4 Allenstown victims.
Really, the most important piece is being able to identify them. We've learned an awful lot about Terry Rasmussen, but we want to learn about who those 3 children really are and who this, this woman with them is.
This guy went to his grave thinking he won. He outsmarted.
All right, so let's go. Hold on 1 second. I want to bring you guys to so this place here, I think what's his face did one of his movies out here. He filmed some of his movie out here. That might have been Lake Massapequa. I'm not sure. Hold on a second here. Give you some images here. So this is these are images of Bear Brook State Park here. Everybody used to go out here. We used to go out here when we were kids. And then later on in life, we used to go out here fishing for we didn't really go out here for fishing. We kind of went fishing, but it was more to get drunk. But we went out here. So this is the We just go out here skinny dipping late at night too here. But this is those, it's not really a lake. It's kind of like a, I don't know, pond, brook or whatever. This was filmed obviously in the winter here. So here's, but there's tons of woods out here. So if you want to dump something, this is a good place to do it here. And there's hiking trails out in here too. So, but this is where they found all of the barrels out in here. And they didn't find them all at the same time. They kind of found one and then they found another one. So this is Bear Brook State Park here. All right, so let's go back to this here. Right. Right here.
Us all. I feel a little satisfaction knowing that we made some headway and proved he's not so smart.
If you have any information about Denise Bowden, the out.
JCN's here. Where's JCN? There she is. Hi, JCN. Good to see you. JCN's got a great channel too. And feel free to throw that a link in here too for your benefit walk, JCN. Leave It to Beaver. I remember that show. Yes. We love everybody in here, so we hope everybody gets better soon. All right. So this is almost, hold on.
Allenstown bodies or Terry Rasmussen, please call New Hampshire State Police Cold Case Unit at 603-223-3856. It was.
So I do want to go back to this here because this is the press conference that came out this week here regarding this here because they did identify what they call the middle child that they've been. I think they've known who this was all along, but they just needed to get positive ID on her. But and it's crazy how they did this too because they used almost like a reverse genealogy on this girl here. So here we go. So this was done a few days ago after identifying the final victim of the Bear Brook murders as Ray Rasmussen. Investigators with the New Hampshire Attorney General's office answer questions at a news conference Monday. So here we go. So there was one more victim that they couldn't identify until last week.
My name is John Formella, Attorney General for the state of New Hampshire, and I'm joined up here with a number of folks from our office and also partners that we have collaborated with on this case. I'm not going to name every name, which I know is sometimes dangerous, but we're joined up here from our office by Senior Assistant Attorney General Ben Agati, who's the chief of our homicide unit, Senior Assistant Attorney General Chris Knowles, who's the chief of our cold case unit.
And they just formulated finally here a full-time cold case unit. And people have been picketing forever here for them to have a complete full-time, detective unit to go over cold cases here because there's a lot of cases up here that have yet to be solved. And finally, hopefully people can get some answers around here.
Chris Elphick, Detective Sergeant from State Police Troop D, Detective Sergeant Mallory Lippman from the New Hampshire State Police Cold Case Unit, Assistant Attorney General Rachel Harrington from our Cold Case Unit, Amy's assistance, and we have seniors in with us as well. We've also got some other partners who I'll introduce in just a minute. Before I hand it over to my colleagues from DOJ, who you're going to hear primarily from today, as they're the ones who have been working day in and day out on this case, I just wanted to share a few thoughts about this case and the importance of working cold cases and bringing justice to victims, no matter how much time has passed. Today marks a major milestone in the Bear Brook investigation, but it's not just that.
You just shared who's live on Taylor's live. Uh, um, okay, thank you, JCN.
That investigation that we're marking today, we're marking a commitment to cold cases and working to solve unsolved homicides in this state. With the identification of Ria Rasmussen, we've now given the fourth victim in this case her name back. And that matters. It means a lot. Every life is important, every life is significant, and every person has dignity. So being able to give someone their name back after their life has been tragically stolen from them is meaningful. And it's just something small that we can do for victims. We can't bring them back, but we can restore some measure of dignity. And we hope at some point in these cases, a measure of justice. This result is an example and a reflection of our commitment, again, to cold cases, but also New Hampshire's sustained investment in what is necessary to do cold case work the right way. Partnerships, science, and most importantly, people. What you're going to hear today from our investigators is a testament to what that type of investment makes possible. I want to just commend the unwavering dedication from our cold case unit, both at the New Hampshire Department of Justice and New Hampshire State Police, our forensic partners, and all of those around the country who played a role. And in that, I include those who have followed this case all over the nation and all over the world. Often people who follow these cases and call in with tips and are interested and post things, even online, they help us investigate these cases. They help us gather more information. And it really is a collaborative, sometimes nationwide, even worldwide effort to make breakthroughs in these cases. So I want to thank everyone for their interest and thank them for caring about these victims. Like I said, this case demonstrates the power of collaboration, from local and state investigators to national partners like the DNA Doe Project, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, the Bodie Technology Group, and
Doodlebug's here. Hey, Doodlebug, good to see you. Doodlebug's here. Oh, thank you, Paula. Doodlebug's awesome. Doodlebug's got a great channel too. I try to get over there when I can. She usually collabs with Arctic Fox. Arctic Fox awesome too. Southern Gal, Arctic Fox, Doodlebug. I've watched the Timmy's Legacy videos that very, very interesting that Barbara Hall sent out this week too. Be going over that, I think, next week. It's always good to see everybody here. It's always good to see Doodlebug here. Feel free to throw your chat in here, Doodlebug. Doodlebug's awesome.
And others. And these partnerships are critical to solving these cases. We can't do this work.
This poor kid, it's just, she was stuffed in a barrel. Just absolutely horrifying, just like all the others.
Alone. We have to partner. We have to collaborate. We have to bring every resource that we can to bear in order to make progress in these cases. I want to personally extend some thanks to our partners who are here today from the DNA Doe Project. Some have traveled great distances, even all the way from the UK. We have Jennifer Randolph, the Executive Director of Case Management and Operations at DNA Doe. Gina Fieri.
Thank you, Dandy. Sorry.
An investigative genetic genealogist and team leader. Matthew Waterfield, investigative genetic genealogist and team leader. Rebecca Summerhalder, investigative genetic genealogist. Emily Bill, another investigative genetic genealogist, and Margaret Press, who's the co-founder of the DNA Doe Project. I think we sometimes too often reduce, or when we're talking about cold cases, we sometimes sort of reduce our conversations to a list and names on a list. But we have to remember that behind every person is a story. Behind every person is a network of family and friends and loved ones and a community that cares about them and a community that's impacted when they're tragically taken from us. This case reinforces the importance of remembering that and remembering why it's so important to put the investment and work into these cases. Well, today we've identified the 4 victims in the Bear Brook case.
Yeah, they've identified, I'm pretty sure that they've identified the suspect as being that guy, Terry Rasmussen. He's dead, though, so they can't really do much, but I'm pretty sure he's responsible for this.
We're still seeking information about the disappearance of Pepper Reed, and we're asking the public and the media to help keep her name alive and to help us continue the efforts to find those answers. We're not going to stop until we find all of the answers. And
the mother is still unaccounted for.
This case only reinforces our commitment in New Hampshire to continue working on cold cases, to continue seeking answers and seeking justice for the families, the loved ones, and the communities that wait for it. And it doesn't matter how much time it takes. It doesn't matter if it requires one investigative team handing off the work to another down through the years and even through the decades. We're going to continue this work. Again, I want to thank everyone who's been involved in this case and who works on cold cases. And I want to thank all of you from the press for being here and covering this case and the impact you have on helping us to gather information and get the story and the word out. It helps us in this work. So I want to thank you for being here and thank you for your help. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Senior Assistant Attorney General and Chief of our Cold Case Unit, Chris Knowles. Thank you.
Good morning. Again, my name is Chris Knowles. I'm the Senior Assistant Attorney General and Chief of the Cold Case Unit. And we've called this press briefing because we have obviously additional information on the Bear Brook murders. Today marks a pivotal moment for a case that's haunted New Hampshire as well as our nation for decades. With the identification of Rhea, all 4 victims of the Bear Brook murders have been identified. All of the victims that were found between 1985 and 2000 now have their names. And this moment is both solemn and significant. It's the accumulation of years, decades of investigative work across multiple agencies, forensic scientists, genealogists, and volunteers. Terry Rasmussen believed that he erased his victims from the face of the world. And we've shown that we've worked hard to restore those names and to give them some measure of justice. Rhea was just a child when she was murdered. She deserved to be known. And today we return her name to her. This identification doesn't close the book, however. It closes a chapter, and it's significant because we're giving her name back. But questions remain, especially around the fate of Rhea's mother, Pepper Reed, and the fate of Denise Bodwin. But again, this is a vital chapter that has now been closed.
All right, so let's go to this one here, because this is the press conference, but to give people an idea of what the hell's going on here. Hold on a second. This is the documentary here. So let's do this one here. This will give you an idea of what the hell's going on here.
Our special presentation, The Middle Child.
In 1985, a hunter near Bear Brook State Park unearthed the first clue in a deadly mystery, which eventually identified a serial killer with victims across the country.
This is a story that WMUR has covered since the very beginning. That hunter found the bodies of a woman and a girl buried inside this barrel.
15 years later, a detective found a second barrel with the bodies of 2 more girls likely killed at the same time. In 2017, DNA revealed the convicted killer in California was the father of the middle child, finally giving investigators a suspect.
In 2019, genealogical research revealed the names of the other victims and that they were not related to the middle child. But now there are clues emerging about her family roots.
Devoted investigators have spent decades searching for her identity. They say they will not rest until she is laid to rest.
In this WMUR special presentation, we bring you their stories and the clues that they hope will finally identify the middle child.
Unlike every other homicide case, we did not start out like we normally do, which is having the identity of our victim or victims, and then drawing a circle around that person and looking at the people who were close to them to potentially find the killer. That's not something that we had here.
A lot of people aren't familiar with New Hampshire, and they're certainly not familiar with this case.
November 1985, a hunter finds a tipped-over 55-gallon drum near Bear Brook State Park, not far from a burned-down convenience store.
Could see basically packaging of some type, and as he examined closer, he noticed there was a skull there.
It was an adult woman and a little girl, somewhere between 5 and 10 years old, both beaten about the head. But with badly decomposed remains and no missing persons report that matched, the case stalled until 2000, when it was reassigned to another trooper.
Goes out to the scene, starts looking around, locates another barrel, another metal 55-gallon barrel. At that point, we find the remains of two female children in that barrel also.
They were killed at the same time, and this time period has now been narrowed down to somewhere between 1980 and 1984.
In the late 1970s or early 1980s, a man moved to New Hampshire from California. That man's real name was Terry Rasmussen. He would end up using many different names over the years.
Period has now been narrowed down to somewhere between 1980 and 1984.
1980 to 1984. Okay, thank you.
In the late 1970s or early 1980s, a man moved to New Hampshire from California. That man's real name was Terry Rasmussen. He would end up using many different names over the years, and in New Hampshire, he called himself Bob Evans.
In the summer of 2016, a multi-agency collaborative
I think that was Manchester. He worked at Wambach Mills there down in the mill section of Manchester. It's right off of Canal Street, Commercial Street. I'll be going back out to Bear Brook again shortly because I'm pretty sure that the mother's out there too somewhere. They just can't find her. And the problem out there is a lot of that stuff is privately owned property, so you can't go, privately owned property. But I guarantee you she's out there somewhere. They just haven't found her yet.
investigation was launched. One of the most
I mean, I could be wrong. I've been wrong before, but yeah, I'm pretty sure she's out there too.
significant breaks during that period of investigation was the DNA confirmation that Terry Rasmussen, Bob Evans, was in fact the father of the middle Allenstown child.
Bob Evans died of natural causes in a California prison, sentenced for the murder of this woman. This is Yu's son, June. June was reported missing in 2002, and later that year, her body was found buried in the basement of their home.
He's your atypical serial killer. This is somebody who forms relationships and clearly is having social attachments. So there could be a variety of women out there who are potential victims.
Yeah, hold on a second. So he worked as an electrician. Hold on here. Right here. This used to be a mill here, and he worked in here. I think these are apartments here now. But this is Canal Street here. And this is the wall. I think one of the really good Italian restaurants is down in here. I forget the name of it now, but this is where he worked. So, all right, let's go back to that. Hold on one second here. So this is Jun here, the mom.
Based on information from the woman's family and the work of a researcher, as well as DNA testing and genealogical research, we've identified 3 of the Allenstown murder victims. The mother has been identified as Marlise Elizabeth Honeychurch. This is Marlise's oldest daughter, Marie.
This poor kid right here was stuffed into a freaking barrel. So that's what he would do. He would go and get involved in some of these women over here, kind of take the child into his custody and then unalive both of them.
Elizabeth Vaughn. Marie also had a younger sister who was also Marlise's daughter. That sister has been identified as the youngest Allenstown child murder victim. This is Sarah Lynn McWhite.
Dino's taking off. Hey, Dino, good to see you. Have a good week, buddy. Take care of yourself. We got to get him a better phone than that. Sleep, sweet Mino. It's so funny. He's not going to sleep. Anyways, good to see you, buddy. Have a good week. This is just so awful. This is so sad. This whole thing, this case has been driving me crazy for the last 3 or 4 years for sure.
Waters. There's a fourth victim we still haven't been able to identify yet. The victim we refer to as the middle child.
So this was done 3 years ago. So this week they just finally identified this here as Ray Rasmussen. So she was the daughter to him too.
When I look at it in the terms of day-to-day police work, the little things matter.
We've read hundreds of different police reports from different officers from all over the country, whether it's an officer in Manchester filling out an arrest report of Rasmussen, or an officer out in Arizona that fingerprints him. The little things, filling out.
So this is what he looked like in '73. I don't know what state he was in when this picture was taken, but you can see these different pictures of him. Probably Arizona, right? It's right there, Phoenix, Arizona. Okay, so but you see the differences in how he looks. I mean, you can't tell this guy is that guy. That's for sure.
The forms correctly, documenting things correctly, making sure they're filed correctly. That was instrumental.
Those are the little things that can be critical to a cold case investigator 20, 30 years down the road.
I started with state police in 1989. I had been in the military previous to that and a national police officer. Obviously, in my training year, you jump around the state back then. So I jumped around the state and worked different cases around it. When you go into the major crime unit in state police, you're given a cold case to work on at that time, or a couple cold cases. And this was one of the cases that I happened to read about, and I looked into it a little bit more, and it just piqued my interest. When you open the case file, it's like, one of those books that grab a hold of you really quickly. Running through the information that was in the case file itself, the different aspects to this, and then just coming to the very quick realization, like, this is not New Hampshire. Like, this is not what we normally see up here. And then just the multitude of question marks as you went through, like, what does this mean? What does that mean? And then trying to work through the crime scene itself, and then trying to work through the people that already been interviewed. So it just was like, like a novel. It just grabs you. This grabbed me, and I ran with it. Not just homicides, but homicides in Allenstown were rare, where you would have, 2 victims or 3 victims or 4, the multiple victim homicides were extremely rare. Having at that time 2 victims, and just the manner in which they were killed, the blunt trauma side of it, it just, it was very abnormal for New Hampshire. I was reading through the case file, and I'm a very visual type person, and you come out and you try to see what's printed on paper, and you're trying to match the things up from out here, and it gives you a better grasp on the entire case when you're going through it. I wanted to really match.
Here's the thing: you can walk these woods for hours and hours and days, and come out here, especially depending on the time of the year, and not see anything, and then for some reason just not see it, and then walk out here some other day, and that's exactly what happened in this case. He just came out here and found the other barrel. It was just weird.
What the case file was telling me and the exact area. The most frustrating part of this entire case was it seemed like every road that we would walk down or every path we would walk down in this case,
I think she's out. The other one's out here somewhere. Just gotta find it.
talking to someone or thinking, well, this is a possibility, it just always came to a dead end.
There is a mystery that has gone unsolved in Allenstown since the mid-'80s.
That was a different time. You know, we didn't have cell phones back then. You didn't have the internet back then. People weren't as connected. And so it's possible that 4 people went missing and maybe local police department was notified about it, but it didn't go any further than that.
I mean, that's a case too for Mara Murray. She could be up there. Just people just haven't found her yet. I mean, it's been so long, in 2004, right? So, she could be anywhere up there. I think it's a little bit different in Mara Murray's case, though, because Mara Murray, the dogs did hit on her in that house that's right down the street from there. So maybe she was there and then moved afterwards. You just never know. But, I mean, the woods up here, just like everywhere else, they're so vast. And, I mean, it just could be anywhere.
I said I'd come out, walk the area, try to get a better grasp, write some notes about it, and then I was going to go home for the rest of the day. It's a beautiful state park here, but there's things out here that, it is a state park. It's open to the public, so any possibilities. It's a safe place to go. It's a great place for recreation. It's kind of one of the gems in New Hampshire, but, there's flaws in every gem. I actually was in the canine unit for many years, so we do a lot of canine training out here in Bear Brook. You start doing laying tracks for dogs, and you're out in the middle of the woods and having the dogs trained to come out and find you. You actually start to understand how dense these woods are and how big Bear Brook is itself.
I used to live in Allenstown. I used to live right maybe a mile behind the Bywise that used to be here. So we used to go up to Bear Brook all the time. Across, there's Bear Brook there, and across in this area here, there's really good catfish here. So we used to go out here and get really blitzed and fish at night. I always caught a really good buzz. I never caught any fish, but I caught a lot of alcohol.
But this is further out than we would normally go for canine training. I remember it was a sunny day. It was warm. When I first came out that day, I was trying to figure out exactly where this was in Bear Brook. I had to, try to figure out exactly where it was before I even pulled into the area. This is where the store used to be. This was the foundation of the camp store that was here before it closed. And one thing...
That's what I mean. You can walk out here, right? And at one time, there were stores out here. They're just all grown over now. It's not there anymore, but these were all places that people would go. There were buildings here and homes and everything, and now they're all just gone.
They used to have tractor trailers that used to back in here at night, so that the drivers of the tractor trailer would sleep here, and then they'd leave in the morning. So that was another factor when we first started investigating the case, wondering if that was an aspect to it or not. We couldn't really close any possibilities. So you really had to think about, this is a state park and people go through it all the time. I had done most of the walkthrough that I wanted to and looked at some different things and got a grasp of the area and wrote some notes about it. And then I was starting to walk out back towards my car, and then I started to walk off the path a little bit into the wooded area and over in this area. And that's when I came across, finding a barrel out in the middle of the woods really isn't it could be just something, especially with the store that had been here, really wasn't surprising. But when I walked up and I saw the plastic that was inside the barrel, then it made me think, and you're trying to talk yourself out of it because you don't think it's going to be what you think it is.
Because what are the odds, right? You are engulfed in this case about a barrel, and you find another barrel.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't even in the realm of possibility in my mind at the time.
It's just such a sad thing that people just treat human beings like this. Just put them in barrels like they weren't ever. And it took forever to find these things. So it's not like they just walked out here one day and found them. I think 20 years. I think a good 10. That's for sure.
A lot of hunting out here. Could have easily been an animal at the time, or animal remains, but we all know it didn't turn out that way.
On May 9th in 2000, New Hampshire State Police Detective John Cody found a second barrel on the same property in Allenstown. That barrel contained the remains of two more of Rasmussen's victims, this time 2 female children. Based on their apparent age,
These things make these stories just make me very angry. It's just like, how could people treat anybody, right, but kids like this? This is just a barrel, right?
and their age with respect to the first child victim, we've referred to these 2 victims as the middle child and the youngest child.
But when you find the second barrel, how soon after did you start thinking we might have a serial killer?
I think that was in the realm of possibilities. I'm sure it was originally discussed. Again, this is New Hampshire. You wouldn't even think, it's abnormal to find 2 bodies,
3'8", height 3'8", 5 to 10 years, Caucasian, Native American, light brown hair, double pierced ears, approximate year of unaliving 7785. This is just crazy. 5 to 10 years. Just they couldn't even really get a. That was child 1, and back here is I have all of this stuff somewhere. Like I said, a lot of this stuff I lost with my other computer.
I think that was in the realm of possibilities. I'm sure it was originally discussed.
4 to 8 years old, height 3'8". I mean, just can't. This is just insane. This is crazy. Skeletal remains, just awful, just terrible.
Again, this is New Hampshire. You wouldn't even think. It's abnormal to find 2 bodies, wrapped up in a barrel that, had broken open and was found by a hunter, but it's not even going to be in the realm to think, okay, there could be another barrel out there.
Yeah, the middle child they just identified last week, and it's like I said, strange because they had to do almost like a reverse, because I'm pretty sure they knew who she was, right? Like it's really hard to believe that she could have been anybody else but, the younger daughter, the Ray Rasmussen, but they had to be absolutely 100% sure because the body was so decomposed. So I think they had to do almost like a reverse genealogy on this here. That's why it took so long.
When I peeled back the plastic and I saw the white, I think I still was second guessing myself. I had to go back out to my car, get my flashlight, come back in and shine it. And then when I saw the bones, everybody came out. We actually had to contact a medical examiner, and they confirmed that they did appear to be human remains. I think the thing that was really resonating with us that day is the size of the bones. So you knew that these were younger victims, most likely children. New Hampshire's a wooded area. There's a lot of secrets buried out in woods everywhere in New Hampshire. All options were open. Was the barrel there since the beginning? Is this another, 2 other victims? Are they any way related? The second barrel was actually found over in this area. And, obviously quite a distance from the other barrel.
How old was I? I was 25, I think. I was 25 And one of my buddies I used to work with, Arthur, he got around here. You get picked for moose hunting, right? For a lottery, he got picked to go on a moose hunt out in Coos County, and that was. He kept asking me if I wanted to go, and I'm like, finally, I said, sure. He's like, there's plenty of beer, let's go. And I was 25, I was pretty fit, I was in good shape. We were out there all weekend. It was the hardest thing I've ever had to do in my entire freaking life. It was running up and down these hills over there in Coles County in New Hampshire looking for freaking moose. I almost died. I literally almost died. It was that exhausting. It's just finally I said, you know what, fuck it, I'm not doing this anymore. The second day is, like, I'm not gonna. This is, I mean, it's so you can't imagine how exhausting that is, and you just don't. I mean, there are moose are everywhere out there. You just can't get to them, And when you finally see one, out in the woods now, and if you get one, you got to drag it out of there. No thanks. I'll never go moose hunting again, ever in my life.
Because there's so much of a distance between the two, the chances of this barrel even being found at that first investigation were probably slim to none. There was not a lot of publicity around the second barrel when it was found. Obviously the local police department knew about it. We worked very closely with Allenstown Police Department at the time. It was kept pretty quiet because we were trying to figure out, what we had here. The one path that we hadn't walked down because it wasn't there at the time was technology.
It wasn't technology that led you to that barrel.
No.
It was some old-fashioned investigative work.
It was luck, literally luck.
Old-fashioned
Just being in the right place at the right time.
Investigative work, but a lot of luck too. It's following up on the case and going out and do what we, every investigator in the major crime unit and every detective in New Hampshire would do.
Knowing that there is one unidentified.
This poor kid right here. This just all of these kids just absolutely terrible. It's just it's horrible. All right, so they finally did that. They finally identified her as Ray Rasmussen, and they can't really do too much because the person that's probably responsible for this is dead, and I don't know if they're going to dig him up or not, but probably not. So, all right, so we're going to go to something else now. I just wanted to go over that, and I'm still trying to figure out whether or not they're going to talk to me or not about the Ron case. But there's another case. There's another victim too that went missing up in Concord. I think Southern Gal just did something on her a few months ago, and I've done like 3. I forget her name now. She disappeared in Concord, New Hampshire. She could be tied to that too, but they're not talking to me, so I can't help that. All right, so we're gonna go to this now. This is this came out a few days. I wanted to do this last week, but I didn't have enough time. So we're going to the Go-Go Beach thing now, the murder trial. This was on News Nation about 7 days ago. And this is important here because this is going to be going forward. This is going to be pretty crucial in cases after this one. So judges ruled DNA evidence linking alleged Go-Go Beach serial killer Rex Heumann to 6 to 7 women he's accused of unaliving will be admissible in court. So this was highly disputed here. This form of DNA collecting here. This is this here, and we'll go with this here. Well, I'm pretty sure everybody knows about Rex Heumann here.
Court ruling in Long Island, New York. It could have a major impact on the outcome of the Go-Go Beach serial killing trial. We now know cutting-edge DNA testing of evidence will be permitted.
This is being disputed everywhere, though. This I don't know if it's going to be allowed in every state, but they're allowing it here in New York. So
Rex Heumann is currently awaiting his day in court for the murders of 7 women. Their bodies were found over the span of decades. This new DNA testing has already linked Heumann to 6 of the 7 women. Here with us is former prosecutor and criminal defense attorney Jeremy Eldridge. Jeremy, welcome back. Nice to see you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So hold on a
Eldridge,
second, I
Jeremy,
missed it.
and criminal defense
Shit.
attorney Jeremy Eldridge. Women. Here.
Okay, so these are the victims. He's being accused of unaliving here. There's 7 so far. There's probably going to be more. So this is the first one, Sandra Castilla, Valerie Mack. We know the names, but I just wanted to put the victims' names up here because it's not about the piece of shit that did this to them. But you know, these poor kids and girls didn't deserve any of this. But I guarantee you, there's going to be more. There's 7 now, but I wouldn't be surprised if he links up to like 20 of these. So there's the 7.
Here with us is former prosecutor and criminal defense attorney Jeremy Eldridge. Jeremy, welcome back. Nice to see you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course. This is the first time this form of evidence will be permitted in a New York courtroom. Explain to me what led to the judge's decision on this.
Well, the first thing that
Okay, so the results as well as expert testimony pertaining to the said. So this is the nuclear DNA thing that's being fought everywhere. Rootless hairs recovered from are admissible in trial. So is this the first time they're allowing this into a criminal case or not? This nuclear stuff? It could be. I know it's probably the first time in New York.
judge looks at when deciding whether scientific evidence, especially something that is novel or innovative, is admissible in court, is that evidence generally accepted within the scientific community? Meaning, is it reliable? And then also, has it been accepted in other courts?
Jimmy's not weird. He just lives in Canada. They play a lot of hockey in Canada.
So we know that this type of
Look at
evidence
this guy. This guy here. Huh.
has been accepted in California courts. They heard expert testimony discussing its reliability. We know it was used in California to catch the Golden State Killer. And so the judge in this case believed that the evidence was reliable enough that the jury should hear it.
We know this case was unsolved for decades. It was the technology you and I are talking about that led to Huerman's arrest in 2023. Going forward, and you mentioned this has already been allowed in other states like California, how is this evidence going to help the prosecution?
It's essentially their entire case when you think about
So
it.
link suspect to victim's hair found on belts, tape, burlap, matched suspect. This was the old famous discarded pizza box, but they have a ton of other shit on this guy, right? They have lists that they had on his computers with all the bad spelling. Remember that of what to bring to these things, what not to bring to these things. I mean, they had this guy. They literally had this guy years ago, and because of all of the bullshit in Suffolk County, there they just or wherever this was in New York, they just didn't do anything, and this went on for years.
This type of DNA testing allows for the testing of degraded or minimal samples. And here we know, as you said, that a lot of the victims' bodies were found years later. We know that some of the hair samples, if they're rootless, for instance, weren't available to be tested using what we've done for decades, which is STR testing. And so because of this new technology and because it'll be admissible in court, there's a huge advantage that the government now has in prosecuting these cases. And it actually goes to the next point, which is because the DNA is now admissible, will the court allow all of these matters to be tried together, meaning all of the victims' cases tried in one trial? And there's a million good reasons as to why the DNA admissibility only makes that argument stronger.
And you know this better than I do. This is a massive blow to the defense. After the judge's ruling, Huerman's attorney disagreed with that decision. He said, quote, "It's clear that they did not sustain their burden." You're a criminal defense attorney, Jeremy. How does this affect their strategy moving forward?
It makes their case very difficult to win at trial. But what they're going to hone in on here, which is pretty obvious, is that number one, the DNA testing wasn't done at a state facility, right? So they're going to go in on the fact that this is done privately.
Nicole's here. Good to see Nicole. Truth or Dare's here. Good to see Truth or Dare. Who else snuck in while I was? It's good to see Nicole. Thank you for coming in, Nicole. Truth or Dare's here. what was that high pitch? I'm not sure. All sex workers should be legal. I agree. I agree 100%. Therefore, it is ordered that nuclear DNA results as well as expert we've read that already.
And we know things like comparative bullet lead analysis, CBLA, that used to be done to match bullets, and that was junk science, or dental bite science. We know that was junk science.
You guys have no idea how appreciative I am that people come in here and listen to my bullshit for 2 or 3 hours a week. But I do appreciate everybody for coming in for sure. You guys are all awesome. We agree with the court's. We disagree with the court's decision. This is coming from this guy's got a good lawyer though. Michael Brown's a good lawyer. We don't agree with what the court has ruled. We think that the evidence is clear that they did not sustain the burden. Sure, right.
They're going to be trying to say to that jury, this science isn't reliable. You shouldn't exactly believe just what they're telling you just because they're saying that the DNA matches. It's new science, and we know that we've seen problems with other types of science in the past that have reversed cases and then ordered new trials. So I think the defense is going to be incredibly hampered by this. They have DNA for 6 to 7 victims using this new technology.
Thank you, Nicole. Appreciate that.
Technology. And so they're going to have a difficult time defending this case if all they're going to be able to do is say it's junk science.
As we're following the judge's decision to allow this new technology as evidence in the courtroom, our Ashley Banfield spoke with John Ramsey. Of course, he is the father of John Benet Ramsey. He weighed in on this. Here's what he said.
We've got to use this technique. I firmly believe that it'll solve the case. If we do it and we don't get a solution, then by gosh, I'll give you guys credit. You did everything that technically can be done today. But it's a huge advance in the use of DNA technology. You know, the last DNA testing in our case was done about 8 or 9 years ago. Technology has advanced dramatically.
Yeah, there's no doubt technology has changed so much in over a decade. Does this decision set a precedent for other unsolved cases, Jeremy?
Of course it does. Not only is this technology available to solve cases potentially like Jean Benet Ramsey's case, but the other part of it is there has to be a cautious optimism, right? Because this hasn't been tested in courts. So we're talking about two different issues. One is, can it potentially solve crimes? With this genome testing, you'll be able to do family lineages. Is somebody related so you can find a defendant? No different than what you saw with the Golden State Killer. But you also have to understand that if this is tested in court, if there are problems with this reliability of the scientific testing, and then cases are reversed and remanded, that could be hurtful to victims too. So courts really have to be careful when they're allowing novel or innovative scientific procedures into court, because you never want to put the victim or the defendant through an entire trial that only gets reversed and remanded because bad decisions were made. So this really has to be done thoughtfully.
Yeah, I think that this case here is going to be, I don't know if they've ruled yet on whether or not they're going to try these cases separately or all together. But I think there could be some issues with this case if they try them separately. But I mean, I got this guy pretty much guilty myself personally, but you never know what a court's going to do, especially if you have to try every single case separately.
Being careful.
Jeremy, I only have about 30 seconds for your answer, but I really want to get this question in. As you and I have been talking about, Huerman is accused of killing 7 women. According to court records, we saw stray hairs that were linked to the suspect to 6 out of the 7 women. There's another hearing scheduled later this month on whether or not to separate the cases, whether he should be, tested or, seen for all 6 murders or just one individually. What do you expect to happen during that hearing?
I think it's likely that the matters will be joined, meaning tried together, especially with some of the decisions regarding DNA, pattern.
I do agree. They need to be very careful sometimes because it's happened before. I've seen it where, transfer DNA is just not necessarily evidence that somebody's guilty, because it's happened before where the transfer DNA, the person had nothing to do with the crime. DNA is everywhere. For sure.
Absence of mistake. A lot of that evidence is allowed to be joined into one trial. So I think it's highly likely.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below.
All right. What are we going to do now? I do want to go. Hold Hold on a second. Did we do the well, we can do a little bit more of this here. OnlyFans model, victim or murderer. We'll do this here.
Devastating.
So this is the other OnlyFans case here. This is the case of Courtney Cleany. This is the only other OnlyFans model here. This is Vinny here. So.
Devastating tragedy. Clenny, a social media star with millions of followers, lived in the shimmering heights of Miami's luxury lifestyle. By her side was Christian Oboncelli, a man described as vibrant, ambitious, and full of life. But behind the glossy images and curated posts, their relationship was marred by turbulence, arguments, and allegations of violence. In April of 2022, the glittering facade shattered when Christian...
Oh, that's right. I remember last time we left, I was going to do a special on 9/11. On Thursday. But I slept really late that day, and I wasn't able to get anything going online until 8 or 9 o'clock, and then I had to go to work. So, but belated 9/11. It's just what a freaking terrible day that was.
Was fatally stabbed in their high-rise apartment. Police arrived to a scene of chaos, blood, screams, and life slipping away. Clenny claimed self-defense, but prosecutors painted a darker portrait of manipulation and rage. The case has captured the nation not only because of its shocking nature, but because it exposed the fragility behind an image of perfection, leaving heartbreak and unanswered questions in its wake.
So, Courtney Clenny was making money. She was making very good money.
He was making a lot of money. Like, she was supporting his ass for sure.
Money for someone that young and early in your career, whatever your career is, it was like real money. I want you to take a listen to her father, who was in court, and the issue was about bond and bail, talking about the money that he was handling that was actually his daughter's money. Take a listen.
After April 3rd, Courtney was a mess. I didn't really trust her to handle her finances. One important thing was that her debit card for one of her accounts was not found, and we didn't know who had it or had access to her accounts. So we felt like the prudent thing to do would be to transfer the money into one of our kind of dormant accounts and then safeguard that way. And then as she needed it, we could use it on her benefit. Well, the first wires were on April 12th of this year. There was one wire for $121,000, one wire for $1,013,000. And then subsequently in May, there was a $50,000 wire as well.
Okay, that's big money. That's big money. We also got a pretty good idea of the lifestyle she was living by where she was living down in Miami. One of the most...
Did you hear those numbers? Hold on a second.
To her accounts. So we felt like the prudent thing to do would be to transfer the money into one of our kind of dormant accounts and then safeguard that way. And then as she needed it, we could use it on her benefit. Well, the first wires were on April 12th of this year. There was one wire for $121,000.
$121,000.
One wire for $1,013,000.
$1 million.
And then subsequently in May, there was a $50,000 wire.
50. So you're talking about a lot of money. This woman here was making buco bucks. In America, they call it buco bucks.
As well.
Okay, that's big money. That's big money. We also got a pretty good idea of the lifestyle she was living by where she was living down in Miami. One of the most expensive areas of Miami where all the young folks with money want to live.
I do. I like Vinny. Vinny's okay. He doesn't look like Anjanette Levy, but he's okay. He's a good guy.
Listen to Courtney Clenny. She's on body cam here talking about what she's paying in rent per month.
He has belongings in there. He has belongings in there with you, right? He has property. So he has property in your apartment.
In my apartment, yes, that I pay $10,000 a month for. He does pay zero for. Yes. So I will have. I really. I will happily. I don't care what happens. I just don't. I don't want to.
Courtney, let me answer this.
So she's paying $10,000 a month in rent. She's paying
$10,000 a month for rent. 10,000. That's a lot.
the money. It's not they're paying the money, her and Christian, her boyfriend. She is the one making the dough, right? She's the.
That's why he was with her. I mean, that and the looks, the money and the looks. Yes, she was, pretty much the breadwinner.
One paying the rent in that high-rise condo that they were renting. Okay, so where's the money coming from? Where's the money coming from? We call her a social media influencer. She's prolific with millions of fans on Instagram, but she's also on OnlyFans. And she's making money on OnlyFans. And that brings us to the first question in our investigation.
This is going to be funny. Ready?
What really happens on OnlyFans?
Like he doesn't know.
Right? We've talked about this case many, many times. We refer to it as the OnlyFans murder trial. But what is OnlyFans? What happens on there? Let's bring in some guests who are going to help answer that question. OnlyFans creator Sapphire, who has been creating content for 5 years on OnlyFans, and OnlyFans creator Marie
Jibby, remember these names.
D, who has been creating.
He should have had Dino up here too with his OnlyFans account. Dino probably makes what, $10 a month?
Creating content for 3.5 years. So both have spent some time making money there. Let me ask you, Sapphire, when we hear those numbers, is the money really that good?
Oh, definitely. The sky's really the limit. I personally don't make that much money, but I know that you can. So yeah, it's definitely real.
So Marie D, we're talking about Courtney Clenny here. She's prolific on Instagram, but seemed to be making a lot of.
Dino's phone died, I think. Either that or he's out probably burying people. $10 a month and pays $100 for Wi-Fi.
A lot of money in OnlyFans. What is there a relationship between those two sites and the way to do business and to make money?
Absolutely. There's a very, very strong connection between the following you have on social media and the money you make on
Probably going to send him a charger for his birthday.
OnlyFans. As someone who has also made millions on OnlyFans, that was only achievable once I was able to become this sort of influencer and put this type of image out there that, most people would want to follow me, right? So
Charlotte's here. Hey, Charlotte, good to see you. See, I try to stay on. I try to come on here at like 1. I try to push it to the brink of like 1:10, somewhere around there, because I like Charlotte so much. It's always good to see Charlotte here. I hope you're well. Because Charlotte's all the way over there in England, and I know she's technically ahead of us by a few hours. Yes, Vinny is such an innocent, naive young man. It's good to see you, Charlotte. Hope you're well.
you really have to put this image out there. You really have to be on the ball all the time and, put such a facade out there, like the word you guys used. But in general, yeah, you need a lot of followers to generate that sort of income. And I think.
Glad you're still here, Farq. Farq's amazing. Dandy's awesome too. Thank you, Dandy. Jocelyn's amazing too. Is Jocelyn working? Are you working or?
I think that's exactly what she had going on, and it obviously led to something different.
Okay, Sapphire, we may have some viewers who are subscribers on OnlyFans, and we may have a whole bunch who have never seen it and don't really know what really happens on OnlyFans. Give us an idea of what.
Do you think Vinny in this segment has more than like his usual smile? Or is that just me?
What's happening on OnlyFans?
Yeah, so the appeal initially for me for OnlyFans was that it could be anything that you want it to be. For me, I do post explicit content. So a lot of creators will have a subscription and they'll post maybe nude content, or they'll have things behind a paywall where you can pay a little bit more money and get, a full-length video of them. I make videos with my partners. And for me, it's all been very amateur. It's me, sharing very personal things with my subscribers. And yeah, it's essentially.
Put it this way, these people who are content creators on OnlyFans they're not doing this for their health, right? They're not going on and creating an OnlyFans account for free. This is a very, very expensive thing, and they make a buco bucks, and she was making buco bucks, and I don't know, I can't be 100% sure, but I don't think he was making nearly as much as she was. So she was the breadwinner, I think.
Essentially just amateur adult content. That's what I share, and that's what I've made a lot of money doing.
And you said with your partner, so Courtney, who went by the name Courtney Taylor, was doing some videos, not all the time, but sometimes with Christian. Is that common, that like your boyfriend, your girlfriend, that together you'll appear on OnlyFans doing what you would normally do in private?
Yes. Yeah, it's very common because a huge moneymaker on the platform is selling those full-length tapes. So if you have a partner, you have the benefit of not having to find someone to collaborate with. So you can make more of that content.
And who keeps the money? Who controls the money in that situation?
Yeah, well, essentially for me, I always control the money. My partner.
Women control the money. I know that's how that works in my house. Like I literally get lunch money and, whatever, but women control the money. That's what happens in my house.
Gets the benefit of, being able to help me out, and it's up to me whether I want to compensate them or not. I mean, everyone's going to work differently, but usually my partners have been willing to help me with my business. It's my name, it's my face. I'm the star. That's how I run my business. People do things differently, but that's what made sense for me.
Marie.
Nicole has her own channel too. I didn't know that. Nicole, you can throw your chat in here if your site in here if you want. If you got your YouTube stuff, because I'll definitely sub. I didn't know, or maybe I did. I don't know. I probably am.
Ray, how about from your perspective? Are you doing the same type of?
It's always good to see Charlotte. Charlotte's amazing. Everyone has a channel. Okay.
Content?
Yes. So I do full length adult content as well. I have one male partner, and I am in control of my income fully. I will say that he is also my full-time bookkeeper, which is great. But basically the way that my business works is that he is on a salary. So he gets paid a salary wage, just like my assistants I have. Since I am a larger creator now, I need more help than just another male performer. So I have my male performer on a full-time salary and a few assistants, and that's how it works. I still get the, obviously largest percentage of the income I make, and that's what works out best for my business and for me.
And I hear from both of you, my business. You are in charge. Let me ask you, Marie, you said my boyfriend's on a salary. The case of Courtney and Christian, obviously she was in charge. I don't know how that impacted their relationship, if there was if it created sort of a tension or a jealousy on the behalf of Christian, or if she had more power in the relationship. How has that impacted your personal relationship, since you have this professional collaboration going on, but you're in charge?
So one interesting aspect about OnlyFans is that to the general public and to people who don't understand what it is, quote, degrading to women. But to the ladies like myself who are actually doing it and earning millions of dollars, it's empowering. So I think that where I am is extremely empowered and confident. And that could have potentially been Courtney as well. She could have felt like she was just on top of the world. She could do anything that she wanted to. She didn't need anyone's approval. And, I'm not sure the dynamic of her personal relationship, but when you're the boss, you need to have control and you need to feel like you're in control. So that could have been an issue for her. For my personal life, I feel like I have reached a great work-life balance, which although I'm making adult content, although, my content is very sexy and, it looks really fun to the viewers, there's a lot of business and strategies that go into it. So for me personally, I have just set strict boundaries on what my partner has claimed to.
Yeah, that had to be pretty complicated because she was living with this guy. And everybody knows that working and yes, you should. Working with the same person you're living with can be very I mean, you're just never apart, it seems, and that can kind of get into the tension a little bit. I mean, I'm not making excuses for her for unaliving the guy, but I can see how that would create more tension if you're living and working with the person at the same time, and there's that whole dynamic.
Versus what I have claimed to and my business has claimed to.
Yeah, I've been meaning to get to. You really should do that. Me too. I agree with that 100%. Charlotte, Dave loves old Russian history. I do. I love British history, especially up to the moderns, because everything after Charles I was basically, I mean, England has a king and a queen, but they're really not the same thing as before Charles I. But I do love Russian history too, especially the Romanov dynasty, and before that, technically, the Tudors. Yeah, the Tudors are. That was actually one of my favorite series, the Tudors. But I do want to go back to the Princess in the Tower soon. But I got to get some time for that. Hopefully, I could do that soon. Maybe we can collab, Charlotte. That would be awesome. Because I want to do Henry the First next. Henry the First of Plantagenet.
And that has helped me a lot. Now, what I think could have happened with Courtney is that she just felt entitled to anything and everything. This
whole thing. This was what they call one of those toxic relationships. Like it's, and some people can live like that. Some people have a lot of success in relationship with toxic relationships, but that's what this was. These two were toxic. That's just my opinion.
Her way, and maybe if her partner was being a little greedy in her eyes, that could have been a different dynamic on top of someone who's already abusive and mentally ill.
Yeah, sometimes that works too. Sometimes people can work really good together like that. I just, I know when I had my stores, my furniture stores, Heather, my Heather would work. She was great too. We didn't necessarily always work together, but You don't have a partner and you like it that way. That's awesome. That's great. If you want to watch a really good Russian history, especially on the Romanovs, check out Star Media. I can try to find it and put it in a chat. Star Media, and they go through from Michael I think it's Michael. Well, they do the Time of Troubles, which was right after Ivan the Terrible, and then they go to Michael, the first Tsar after Ivan. Then they go through all of the right up until the last Nicholas the Third. Isn't Nicholas the Third? Awesome show. It's awesome. They do such a great job on show. Who are we talking about? Catherine the Great was actually German, and Catherine the Great was German. She was basically brought to Russia to marry into the line of Peter's succession. So Peter, then Sophia, then her. But before her, it was her husband. Was it Peter the Third, Peter the Second, Peter? It was Peter the Second or Peter the Third, who was historically like one of the worst czars in history. I mean, he was just an idiot. But she was German, and she literally learned the Russian language, which is not easy to learn, especially if you're German, all by herself. And she literally took the crown from her husband. He supports and provides me. So that's a little bit of history of Catherine the Great. Catherine the Great was probably one of the greatest rulers ever.
I couldn't imagine what could happen from that. But as far as how it affects my personal life, it does in every aspect. I mean, this type of business is not only a business that generates a lot of money, but it is my body, it is my privacy, it is my sexuality, it is all of those things. So it's way more sensitive than any business could be. And I think a lot of people do not understand that. A lot of people see any adult performers as soulless, or like we don't have morals, or we don't.
No, there was so Peter the Great's son, he killed his only son. So when Peter the Great died, he didn't leave his to anybody. So they went to the next in line, which was actually a female, who I'm pretty sure was Sophia. Sophia had a son, which was I think it was his daughter, or part of that line. She was related to him, but Peter the Great's actual daughter usurped Sophia, and then it passed down to her son, which was Peter. I think it was Peter the Third, and then Peter the Third married Catherine the Great, and then Catherine ended up usurping her husband, and that's how Catherine the Great got into power.
Don't have ethics, and that is simply just not the case. So I think for a lot of people, they may never be able to understand this.
Peter the Great's son actually tried to usurp, or I mean, this is historical, so I don't know how accurate the historicity is, but Peter the Great's son actually rose up against Peter the Great. So Peter the Great had his son imprisoned, and his son actually died in prison. And then that was the end of that. But it got handed down to, I think it was his sister's son or something like that, or whatever. I forget now.
Dynamic, but what happened in this case was just purely wrong. I think it could have happened to anyone owning a business when there's a lot of money mixed in with sexuality and both of them performing together. I just think it was honestly a recipe for disaster.
Yeah. The other part, Sapphire, that happened with Courtney, it seems that there were a lot of drugs.
I agree. It's 2025. It's starting. It's time to start taxing people. I think it was Sophia.
Drug use involved, and that's, I guess, the potential downfall when you're young, living on the high, the high life, and you have access to all this money flowing in. Have you seen that in the industry for OnlyFans creators? Is that common, or is this more of an outlier in what happened with Courtney Clenny?
Yeah, I would definitely say that it is a common struggle amongst creators. Me personally, I've had my struggles, especially in the beginning. Like, I really didn't know just how much I was getting myself into. I thought, I'll put myself up there online, but I didn't really fully realize, I'm going to be making a living. I'm going to have financial freedom. And when you're at such a young age and you don't really, come to realize how to have the willpower to manage your finances, to not go out and, do drugs or alcohol or, whatever is in front of you, anything.
So OnlyFans, from what I know, OnlyFans is kind of like a platform. They have kind of like securities and stuff like that. So you go, if you want to have an OnlyFans account, you go onto the platform, and it's almost like being a content creator, technically, on YouTube. You just make money, and it's a little bit more explicit. You could do more things. There's other ones besides OnlyFans too. There's others, but OnlyFans seems to be like I don't know if it's the most popular one, but it's the one everybody knows. Yes.
Is available, and so it's so easy to get wrapped up into that lifestyle. I think a lot of creators definitely might be struggling behind the scenes more.
Are the initials RK?
Than it looks like. I mean, it looks glamorous, but there's a lot of parts of the industry.
I know Vinny's kind of exploiting this a little bit, but he's trying to get to a point of, what this relationship was kind of like between Courtney Clenny and the victim, right? The guy that she's accused of unaliving, right? Because she's saying it's self-defense. I think that's what her defense is. And the state is saying that it wasn't self-defense. So she's being charged with, I think it's second degree.
That really are not.
Well, I want to thank both of you, Sapphire and Marie D, for taking us to a place where I think it's important to understand the trial that we're going to be covering, because we talk about it all the time, but this is the first time we've ever really gotten the insight, and I really do appreciate it. Sapphire, Marie D, both OnlyFans creators, thank you so much. Coming up next, what happened to Courtney Clenny?
All right, so what do you want to say?
All right, so we'll watch a little bit more of this here, and then I want to get out of here. I've got a couple more other things I want to cover.
That's Courtney Clenny hitting rock bottom. That is the moment when she is put in handcuffs after stabbing Christian Obonselli or throwing the knife at him. We'll see what the jury says during the trial. We'll see if it was self-defense. We'll see if it was murder. But she killed him. Either way, she killed him, either in self-defense or murder. And that's like rock bottom of her life. But it wasn't always like that for Courtney Clenny. She started out, she was a...
Yeah, this is, she's the OnlyFans model that's accused of unaliving him. We've done 6 or 7 different lives on this here. I've been following this case from way back. I'm pretty sure others have too. It's a catchy title. But it's an interesting case because I don't know how they're gonna. We'll see. The trial should be starting soon here.
Fitness model and, social media influencer. So I want to take you on a journey right now as we take a look at Courtney Clenny through the years, starting back in 2016 up until 2022 when...
Yeah, I'm sorry. I should be a little bit more descriptive on these cases here. I just, I'm sorry. I just kind of sometimes think that, yeah, I should be a little bit better at that.
She, as we just saw, finally arrested, and this time for killing Christian Obumseli. And take a look at the transformation and the journey of Courtney Clenny on social media.
Happy Valentine's Day, otherwise known as Happy Find.
I mean, I'm not going to rule out the fact that there might have been some sort of DRUG activity going on here too, which kind of exacerbated this whole situation here. But this was just a toxic relationship between the two of them.
Find out if you're the side chick day. Love you. Ooh. It's a vibe, yeah. I wrote raps better than that. It's a vibe. Stop with that.
I kind of feel a little bad for her. I don't know why.
What's up, you guys? My name is Courtney Taylor, and I'm about 8 days out from my first show, the NPC West Coast Classic. And today we're going to hit some back and vice, so let's get started. So I grew up in Austin, Texas, and growing up, I was in every sport under the sun. I was in competitive diving, horseback riding, gymnastics, soccer, basketball, volleyball, everything.
Do you support the police? I've actually, no.
I agree 100% with you, buddy. I just, it's better to make money off of this stuff than just to be, free. Like these women probably don't get left alone their entire life. I mean, it's just, it's got to be tough for some of these people. Of course, that doesn't, adjudicate you for, unaliving people, but it's got to be tough for them too.
Yes, I do. I think a lot of times they don't do their job, for sure. In my experience, I've not been helped by them.
No, I can't let this, okay. Relax.
I definitely think she has some sort of mental illness, whether it's like a bipolar type thing, or she's just toxic. He's not leaving her because that's where the money's coming from. He doesn't want to work, probably. He doesn't want to do much. So, I mean, he's basically leeching off of her. But again, that doesn't make it right to unalive somebody. But this whole relationship, in my opinion, was pretty toxic. And I've always been told that it always takes two to tango, especially in something like this here. But I don't think she was. I definitely think she had some sort of a mental illness.
Go, guys, please. Relax, sit down. Okay. Sit down. Okay, just let me. Sit down. Okay.
Do me a favor, sit down. Do not move.
Why are you yelling at me?
Do not move, sit down.
Okay.
We don't know what's going on. We don't know what happened.
I'm terrified.
So right now, don't worry. They're helping.
That brings us to the next question.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely, in my opinion, he definitely wasn't an angel. But I agree with most of what Shibby's saying, for sure. It's a tough life. It's not easy to do.
In our investigation, what happened to Courtney Clenny? Just looking at this before and after, what happened to this young woman? Here to help with our investigation, psychotherapist, CEO of Life Counseling Solutions, Dr. Janie Lacey, and clinical and forensic psychologist and body language expert, Dr. John Paul Garrison, Dr. G on YouTube.
All right, Dr. Janie
This ought to be interesting.
Lacey, what's your answer to this question? What happened to Courtney Clenny?
Well, Vinny, when I think about what happened to Courtney, I think about how we just saw in the video stream of how she started. When you think about someone that's starting by they're chasing their goals, they have something to achieve, they can often mask what's really underneath them. And what really would come out is exactly what happened. When you achieve those goals, when you're on top, right? So I'm looking at two buckets. One is potential mental illness and what's the documentation.
It's possible. It's possible that, he found himself in an abusive relationship. But at the same time, I get this a lot from a lot of people when I cover domestic stuff, it's tough. It's tough to find out exactly. I just think this whole relationship was very toxic, and somebody had to be smart enough to walk away from it, in my opinion. But it's not easy to do. I'm not saying that he wasn't, being domestically abused or whatever, but it's just a sad thing. It's just a sad. But to pin it all on her, I don't know.
Around that. And then we also understand that domestic violence is fundamentally about power and control. It's not necessarily about anger management or passion or crimes of passion, that the way that sometimes these cases are often portrayed. There's systematic patterns of behavior that I would be looking at when I look at Courtney's life that was designed to dominate, to control, to get on top, right? In her own level of seeing herself the way that she was seeing herself. So I would analyze this situation from the documented patterns over time, not just the isolated incident of how it was how it ended. And I think we have enough evidence to show the timeline of the relationship, not just the final incident. So, and even including her medical records and police reports and witness statements, all of those things will help.
It's one of those things. There's I don't forget how much the numbers are, but there's millions of people that are on OnlyFans, have OnlyFans accounts, that live pretty normal lives. They don't have any issues on it, but there's always an outlier, right? There's always one or two or three or four. And there's some people that say that they wouldn't do anything else. I mean, if they're gonna get catcalled and grabbed everywhere they go by strange guys, they might as well make money off of it instead. You know what I mean? That's just my opinion.
Help us understand what happened to Courtney from how she started to how she ended. But I would summarize that to say that when I'm looking at her mental illness and things that are probably not seen as we're looking at the image that she was portraying, but in the end, when we look at these domestic violence situations, the pattern of abuse that happens over time.
Dr. J, I listened to her in those, riding horses out in Texas, going into fitness competitions, all that stuff seems so positive. And then to see where she landed inside of that $10,000 a month apartment down in Miami, covered in blood, her boyfriend with a knife in him. What happened here? What happened to Courtney Clenny?
Well, there's a couple of aspects of this that you have to really consider. One being that substances can always play a role in this. So we don't know if there were any underlying mental health issues, but if there weren't and she really got into some heavy substances, that can dramatically change how people present, how they think, the kinds of behaviors they engage in. And the other part you have to consider is how intoxicating it is to get that much money that quickly. We see people that do exotic dancing and things like that get money too quickly. They get themselves into trouble, drugs and other.
Yeah, because I mean, at the beginning of this, remember we had the father on there saying that, they were, transferring money over to their accounts so that they did the same thing to Britney Spears, right? They transferred money over to their accounts so that they could keep safeguarded for it so that she didn't spend it, all of it. So they were kind of, in a sense, protecting her from spending all of her money, so there was that, a little bit probably of her not being kind of responsible for the money she was making. So she probably just said, take some of this here. I'd probably do the same thing. Take some of this here and hide it on me. Make sure I don't spend it. So this guy speaks some truth here, I think.
Things. This very much could be that kind of situation. It really tested her ability to manage her life because maybe she's chronically impulsive. She may struggle with managing being impulsive, managing being angry. So to see her before and after is tragic because it feels almost like a different person with the way.
I have 2 drugs, actually 3 drugs. I have my Zoloft, my cigarettes, and my coffee. Almost everybody on this planet is on some sort of a drug.
She presents.
Yeah. It's sad. I mean, the real tragedy here, obviously, is Christian Obamseli, who lost it.
And if I don't have coffee, but let me rephrase that. If I don't have coffee and a cigarette, because they both go hand in hand. Like if I don't have one or the other, what's the sense of having one or the other? You know what I mean? Like if I have a cigarette, what's the sense of having a cigarette if I'm not having coffee? If I have coffee, what's the sense of having coffee if I don't have a cigarette? So both, it's like, and you can throw Doritos in there too, but that's another story. But I can get, like these days here, I'm too old to get violent. So like if I don't have my coffee, I'm just going back to bed. It's just not worth getting up. It's not worth it. It's not going to happen.
His life, but at her hands and what was going on in this relationship. Okay, Dr. Jenny Lacey, Dr. John Paul Garrison, staying with.
So let's get out of this here. We've heard enough of that. I'm going to keep following this because I think this is I don't know. It's just an interesting case. I think it's going to go. I think this is another case that might go to some sort of a plea deal here. All right, remember this guy? This is the guy that tried to unalive himself. Remember this guy here? We went over this. They couldn't find him. He's supposedly drowned in a lake in Wisconsin. Okay. Remember this? After vanishing for nearly 3 months and leaving his family to believe he had drowned, Wisconsin father Ryan Borgwart, remember this? Is now being sentenced for faking his own unaliving in an elaborate scheme to start a new life overseas. Remember, he fell in love with like this woman overseas and he left his family. You can't make this stuff up. He disappeared for 89 days and they found him. So now he's shocking sentence. So we'll go over this a little bit here. And we did a couple of lives on this here. Remember this guy?
Did that night and all the pain that it caused my family and friends.
It's the ending no one saw coming in a case that captivated Wisconsin for more than a year. Ryan Borgwart, the husband and father who faked his own death, vanished overseas, and left his family and community believing he was gone forever. Well, now he's finally faced a judge. We are going to break down everything that happened inside that courtroom. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. Well, it is the twist ending to a story that's gripped Wisconsin for more than a year, and it is a case that we've covered quite extensively here on Sidebar. Pretty much every.
Yeah, remember this guy? They couldn't find him in the lake, and he apparently left his family for some mail order bride over there. This guy here, and he didn't think he did everything you could possibly do wrong if you're going to try to do this, right?
Every step of this bizarre investigation. If you've been following us for a bit, you will definitely remember this one, okay? Wisconsin father Ryan Borgwart, who apparently faked his own death, just took off for overseas, and left his family and community believing he was dead. He has now finally learned his fate in court, and during that official sentencing, the prosecutor didn't hold back.
We now know that in the late evening of August 11th of 20.
Is Heather still here? I hope Heather's still here. Didn't he kill? No, he so this guy here, he basically, I forget, was it Bear Lake? It's a lake in Wisconsin. He literally left a boat and they thought he had drowned, falling overboard and stuff like that. He literally faked it. He faked everything, and he left like a trail all the way to, I think it was somewhere Slavic countries. I forget now. I forget the actual name of the country he went to be with some other woman, and they found him. Uh,
2024, the defendant arrived in Green Lake, Wisconsin, and put in motion the final steps to his plan of faking his death so that he could disappear from his everyday life of being a husband and father in Wisconsin, and realized his selfish and self-centered plan to travel overseas to be with a woman that he met online.
And when it was Borgwart's turn to speak, he did. Now we'll get to that. We'll get to that emotional moment. We'll get to the part where the judge makes the final decision, and that is interesting to say the least. But first, let's rewind to the beginning. Back on August 11, 2024, 45-year-old Ryan Borgwart set out.
This was like a little over a year ago. I have such an issue with dates, but this was strange.
Wisconsin's Green Lake in his kayak, telling his family that he was just, going out on a routine fishing trip. Problem was, hours later, deputies find his kayak overturned, along with his fishing rod, his tackle box, his driver's license, even his phone. So obviously, the natural conclusion was it looked like he drowned. And for nearly 2 months, law enforcement, dive teams, the local community, they searched.
Are you thinking about Decker? Travis Decker?
Tirelessly, hoping to recover his body.
For 58 days, the Green Lake County Sheriff's Department, with the support and assistance from community members, Bruce's Legacy, the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources, Cadaver Dogs.
Yeah, this guy here is a piece of shit. This guy here, he basically told his family, I don't like you anymore and I'm leaving. That's for basically everybody. Like, who would do that?
Deep divers, fishermen, local businesses, regional and national law enforcement partners searched for the defendant. The defendant's family was left to believe that he was missing or worse, dead.
But as it turns out, Borgwart wasn't in Green Lake at all. He was already out of the country. Investigators got their first big break when they learned that his passport had been scanned at the.
Yeah, I'm going to be getting out of here too, Shibby. Good to see you. I'll see you around in other people's chats. Always good to see Shibby in here. Shibby's awesome. Stay safe, buddy. Yeah, this guy's a piece of. This guy here is just like he made everybody, just a real piece of crap.
Canadian border. And then when they dug into a laptop that his wife had handed over, the truth of his escape plan began to unfold.
We made contacts. A digital forensic analyst of a laptop.
This guy right here was pissed. This guy here was so upset. Like he made everybody look for this guy, and all of the man hours that to try to find this guy. They had divers out there. I think they were thinking about draining the thing. Like this guy here just put everybody through the ringer, and this sheriff right here, I don't blame him. He was freaking pissed.
That we were given through the wife, searching that, the disappearance that we have found that he was in some place in Europe. Through that forensic analyst, we recovered that he replaced his hard drive on the laptop. He cleared the browser on the day of his disappearance. He sank the laptop into the cloud on August 11th. He took photos of his passport. We found out that he moved funds to a foreign bank, changing his email.
Like I said, he did everything you're not supposed to do if you're trying to get away with this. Like he left such a digital trail. It's not even funny.
And communication with a woman in Uzbekistan.
Sometimes it's really good that criminals are so stupid, right? Because they just
He took out a $375,000 life insurance policy in January. and he purchased airline cards.
Look at that. He took out a life insurance policy for 300. It's like they wouldn't bother to check that, right? Like,
Due to these discoveries of the new evidence, we were sure that Ryan was not in our lake.
So authorities.
Oh, I needed this. I needed this good laugh. This is freaking hilarious. This stuff here, man.
He's eventually tracked down this Russian-speaking woman that Borgward had been in contact with, and through her, they were able to reach out to him directly through email. And soon after, investigators got what they had been waiting for, a proof of life video from Borgward himself.
Good evening, it's Ryan Borgward. Today, hello, and today is November 11th. It's approximately 7 a.m. How you guys? Let's see.
Talking lawsuits here. You know who, by the way, are experts in litigation? Our sponsor, Morgan & Morgan. This is America's largest injury law firm.
Size floating boat.
I'm going to try to.
He reversed his vasectomy. He applied for a replacement passport, claiming that his original one, which his wife found in the family safe in its normal place, was lost or stolen. He researched and studied how to successfully disappear. He looked into how to fake a drowning and chose our beautiful lake, Green Lake, which his research revealed would make his ruse more believable. He believed that Green Lake's great depth would mean that a body would not surface. According to the defendant, his entire plan to fake his death, to devastate his family in order to serve his own selfish desires, hinged on him dying in the lake and selling his death to the world.
Like, he did a terrible freaking job. Like, he did terrible.
His words. What defendant didn't count on was the great concern and dedication of the Green Lake County community and the dogged resolve of our law enforcement.
Prosecutors argued that while Borgward thought he had planned the perfect escape, investigators in the Green Lake community, they never stopped searching.
For 58 days, the Green Lake County Sheriff's Department, with the support and assistance from community members, Bruce's Legacy, the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources, cadaver dogs, deep divers, fishermen, local businesses, regional and national law enforcement partners searched for the defendant. The defendant's family was left to believe that he was missing or worse, dead. Meanwhile, law enforcement was determined to help his family find closure and left no stone unturned, looking into any and all resources in an attempt to determine his fate. Through the use of national and international law enforcement tools, 58 days after the defendant faked his death, this investigation pivoted. Law enforcement discovered that on August 13th.
Okay, so he was sentenced to. He was charged with obstruction of an officer. He was sentenced to 90 days in jail, the exact length of his disappearance, and he was ordered to pay $30,000 in restitution. So he didn't get a lot, but he got enough. So let's hope he learned his lesson. That model under a conservative. I don't know. But anyways, that's it for me. I wanted to go over that because I saw that the other day and I wanted to pass that along to people. He got, not a lot of time. 90 days is nothing, but I'm pretty sure he lost a lot more than that. I don't know if his wife left him or not, but I probably would have. Anyways, I'm going to get out of here. I want to thank everybody for coming in. I want to thank Paula. Paula, you're amazing. Thank you so much for everything that you do. Paula's got a great channel. Thank you so much, Paula, for everything. Dandy, thank you so much for coming in. I really appreciate it. Dandy's awesome. It's always good to see Dandy here. Nicole Watt, thank you so much. Always good to see you. I hope your back is doing better. Sweet dude Chibi, have a good week. Thank you, buddy. Jocelyn was here. Farky was here. I know it's always good to see Farky. Always good to see Jocelyn. Hope everything's going well with you guys. Like I said, I appreciate everybody that comes in here. Let's see here. I know that I haven't seen Honeybee around. I hope she's okay. Let's see here. I know that JCN was in here. JCN's amazing. Doodlebug was in here. She's amazing too. Charlotte was in here. Charlotte's an awesome person. Charlotte's just amazing. I know that Heather was in here. I hope Heather's okay. I hope she was. If she said good night to me and I didn't see it, I'm sorry. Heather's probably the most amazing person in the universe. We love Heather here. Miranda was in here. I hope she feels better. I know she's had her surgery. She's feeling a little bit of pain there, so probably a lot of pain. I hope she feels better this week. Charlotte's amazing. We love Charlotte. Charlotte's awesome. And I'd love to cooperate with her with some of the history. Let's see here. I'm probably going to miss a few people. I'm sorry if I do. I know Mino Dino was in here. Mino Dino's awesome. He was probably one of my first subscribers here. I know that Miss Barbara Hall was in here. Miss Barbara Hall's awesome. Quick shout out to Charles was in here too. Charles is great. Quick shout out to Peggy O. Peggy O's got a great channel. And then Minor Monsters got a great channel. Who else was in here? Also, everybody who watches on the replay, appreciate that. People on the replay really make a big impact on this channel. I really appreciate that. Who else did I miss? I'm probably missing a whole bunch of people. I apologize for that. Oh, Britney Spears was under a conservatorship. That's correct. Gretchen was in here too. Gretchen, thank you so much. Big Fish was in here. I keep forgetting to say goodnight to Big Fish. Thank you, Gretchen, for coming in. I really appreciate it. I hope you have a good time at work, Jocelyn. You're amazing. Jocelyn, always good to have Jocelyn here. All right, so I'm going to get the hell out of here. Whatever you do, don't die. Everybody have a safe week. I truly appreciate all your guys' support. I appreciate everything you guys do for me here on the channel. Don't think I don't appreciate that, because I do. And until next week, I hope you guys stay safe. All right, so let me play my outro and get the hell out of here. Shout out to Dirty Diana too. I hope she's okay. All right, let's get out of here. All right, here we go. I'll see you guys later. Have a great week.